gorgeous, gorgeous Monday. Holy smokes, where do we start? Brett, do you remember from March to almost June, we would call, we would talk with each other, we would rack our brains. What in the world are we going to talk about? What is going to not only interest our audience, what will interest us in all of this no sports world? And now all of a sudden, it is a smorgasbord. It is a feast. It is a bonanza. It is crazy where you're not exactly sure where the heck you are going to start. We've got the Champ Bowl. We've got college football. We've got NFL football. We've got last-second shots that win NBA games. We got a Stanley Cup with a team that's so fast. Holy smokes. They
My
won
Stars.
the first game. Your Stars, 4-1. Man.
My Stars.
They kind of. I'm going to remember that when you talk about those Predators of yours.
My Stars for the next week and a half.
Oh, I see. Okay.
All the baseball, the high school football. Dave, it's been fun.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's not a lot that we can easily access going to, but that starts for me next Saturday, and I'm really looking forward to it. Finally, a game week for me, and notes everywhere. And
you got a game? You got a game?
It's scheduled Saturday for 11 o'clock in Oxford, 9 o'clock pregame right here on these very airwaves.
I had an airplane ticket and hotel rooms and a whole lot of stuff for last week. It didn't happen. I hope it does happen. For you, I think it will happen. For you, we will talk about what's going on with the Tigers. We did get an announcement today. We've got this now. The next time Memphis will play will be October the 3rd. It will be in Dallas against SMU. It'll be on ESPN2. It is a 2:30 kick, so we think that will happen the week after your game and all the SEC games, of which we'll be making picks on Tennessee and Texas A&M today. But we will we'll have a heck of a lot of football to talk about next week, that is for sure.
Yes, we will, Dave, and we got a lot from the weekend. Your Bears among the 11 undefeated teams. There will be 11 after tonight. We know one of those two teams will win tonight, and so that'll make 11 undefeated, 11 winless. I'm going to say this for you about your Bears. A little golf term.
Luck?
No, they don't draw pictures. Just win, baby.
Well, they don't say how, but sooner or later that stuff catches up with you. The Bears have been very fortunate to be 2-0. They had a great start last week. Man, Anthony Miller just dropped one in the end zone. Hey, I've got to say this. I love it. You look at the Tigers in the NFL and how many there are. We mentioned it was at 14, I said the other day.
Terrific show.
How about Gotti getting redemption, kicking the winning field goal? This one from 49 with 1:36 to go to beat Jacksonville. How about the best day in Darrell Henderson's career, 81 yards on 12 carries for the L.A. Rams? How about Antonio Gibson, 55 yards and a touchdown for the Washington football team? And there could be news today of a 15th Tiger getting into the NFL, but I'm going to wait until that really happens.
Yeah, and as far as Gotti, he's another one. It's been a high wire act. He's been kind of out there with the flying Walendas, but 2 winning kicks.
2 winning kicks, yeah, and it's
a good thing they don't draw pictures. He's a golfer. He knows that term.
I heard some sports announcers, talk show hosts, saying they felt that Gotti should be cut from the Titans, even with the 25-yarder that sort of redeemed the performance in Week 1. But Mike Vrabel's smart. Mike Vrabel knows exactly how good Gotti is and stuck with him. And I think whatever the issues were, they're going to go away. That was a great kick by Gotti to win the game. And you can't be wishy-washy. You got to commit in 2-0, just like those Bears.
That's it. 11 teams in the NFL after tonight because I don't think there will be a tie. I'll amend that tomorrow if there's a tie. There would be 11 teams without a loss tomorrow. We're going to at least have that, and we have the debut tonight of the new digs in Vegas in the desert. Dave, we are two of the old codgers that didn't really think we'd ever live to see major league sports in Las Vegas. Now, 2 of the 4 leagues firmly ensconced. Feels like the other 2 not far behind. We can remember when talking odds, talking Vegas, talking betting, talking gambling, it was a little bit off-putting to do so, and we had to do it scotched with kind of proviso language.
I never thought commissioners of leagues who were so vehemently against any alliance with anything that was gambling, it struck their core of credibility. And Pete Rozelle, David Stern, although David Stern maybe at the end of his tenure was shifting. It was certainly done by Adam Silver, this connection now with Las Vegas. But I agree with you. I never thought that in my lifetime there would be this marriage. But we were seeing
the NFL.
We were seeing part of the focus of Monday Night Football last year at the beginning with Joe Tessitore and Booger McFarland, that marriage, where they were incorporating lines and everything else and really kind of promoting it to get you to go bet. And I never thought I would even see teams in Vegas, let alone this marriage with leagues on television and promotions. We just decided that why are we ignoring the elephant in the room? It's here. Let's cash in.
And if you don't want to, you certainly don't have to. If it offends you, do not do it. But you are most naive to think that it hadn't always been one of the healthier aspects or fabrics, maybe not healthy, but one of the fabrics of sports. The very beginning of a lot of sports were for the wise guys and people to bet on, and that's just a fact, whether you like it or not. And tonight in Las Vegas, we will start. It's season 51 of Monday Night Football, but 50 years ago tonight was the debut of Monday Night Football, and it really marked the end. It would from that night on. It was over in New York for Joe Namath, but he was the biggest NFL star going. It was the 70 season, 2 years removed after winning it. They probably should have gone back to back. They probably should have won it in 68 and in 69. In 69, they lost a narrow first-round playoff game to the eventual champion Chiefs, and the Chiefs narrowly beat the Raiders. The Jets probably would have marched right through, if they had defeated the Chiefs, beat the Raiders, and beat the Vikings. They probably would have been back-to-back Super Bowl winners, but they weren't. And they debuted on Monday Night Football. It's very hard. It was hard then.
It's only seven.
And Joe Namath.
Only 7 teams have done it, so you know how hard it is.
And Joe Namath ended up being an under 500 quarterback in his time with the New York Jets and for his career. But 50 years ago tonight, it debuted, and we'll talk a lot about Monday Night Football at 5:30 when we do a pick the top 4 quarterbacks for the Raiders and the Saints.
Had you asked anybody about Joe Namath's tenure with the Jets, and you said, what do you think his winning percentage was there? I would tell you 90% of the population would have said he was well over 500.
Because, they would. You got to remember, scuffled a little early and a lot late.
And the truth is, his legacy was set because he gave the AFL, which is now the AFC, he gave them the credibility that said they are as good as the National Football League, because there was this sense that the NFL was by far superior to the league that was put together later. And went into bidding wars to get players to try to catch up, and that they were so far behind the National Football League, the American Football League, because of Joe Namath, proved they were on equal footing, and they have been ever since.
And Drew, he was such a big star. Drew loves to point out that back in the good old days that it was really a hodgepodge mess, so we were just kind of faking it a little bit like we're doing this year in sports, just trying to piecemeal it together. Opening day 68 or 69, somewhere in the late 60s, the Boston Patriots shared Fenway Park with the Red Sox. And opening day was still while baseball was going on, and Tom Yawkey told the Patriots owners, "You're not playing football. You're not tearing up my field for my baseball team. You're not opening at home. We only have one conflict. You find somewhere else to play." So the Boston Patriots opened their season at Legion Field in Birmingham to cash in on Joe Namath. They were playing the Jets.
I never knew that. I don't
And
really remember that. Wow, that's amazing.
And they opened at Legion Field, and all the Alabama fans all bought tickets, and they made a fortune.
Well, that could very well be the reason why they decided to leave Boston, and the Patriots were not long for the Fenway Park. There were two things that were against Fenway Park. One, they were not the major landlords, and two, 36,000 people. When everybody else in the NFL, that's why the Bears left Wrigley Field. Wrigley Field would hold 36. You might get 40 in because there were a lot of people, including me as a kid on some occasions, in standing room only. And you couldn't get that many in. Then you moved to Soldier Field, and you could get 85 to 100. Double, more than double. So it just made economic sense as the National Football League caught on. We are busy today. What a show we've got. Starting at 3:30, we'll have Ted Butler coming your way in about 15 minutes, and we will talk about DeChambeau. Bryson DeChambeau made a shambles of Wingfoot. I didn't think anybody could ever do it, but he's so big, so strong, he didn't mind hitting out of the rough. If you put a wedge in his hand, the thick stuff, which bothered everybody, didn't bother him. The only one under par. Maybe he has reinvented the way golf will be played. Maybe you'll find other guys trying to go like he did, to bulk up, to hit the ball 1.5 miles. It'll be interesting to see. We'll get Ted Butler's thoughts about it. I can tell you that a lot of his competitors were not as excited about it as the rest of the golfing world. So we'll get his reaction. We've got medals coming your way. There's so many to give out today. David Cobb at 4 o'clock. We got a major story with Deion Sanders. Prime time coming to Jackson State finally. We will talk with Steve Macy, who is an assistant athletic director at the U of M, about the last couple of crazy weeks and what maybe we can expect for the next couple of crazy weeks. At about 4:50, college and pro, we will talk about who won the weekend. Anthony Sane at 5 o'clock. At about 5:15, 5:18, somewhere in there, we will pick Texas A&M and the University of Tennessee, W's and L's. Then at 5:30, we will talk about Monday Night Football. We'll give you the top quarterbacks in the history of the New Orleans Saints and the Oakland/LA/Oakland/Vegas Raiders. And I will tell you that in both those cases, man, there's some good quarterbacks. I'm curious to see in New Orleans, Mr. Norsworthy, who you will choose number one. Because
it's easy. No, it's easy. It's
really?
Number 9. Yeah, it's number 9. He supplanted him long ago. But
okay.
Yeah, it's easy.
Friendship goes a long way, though. I didn't think you'd do that.
It does, but 9's one more than 8.
Yeah.
That was it. That was his line. That was his line one time about it.
Is that right? I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. So that is our lineup today, and then of course we will Taco Bell crunch time at about 5:50.
Also, Dave, at 4:50, we want this lively at 67129 at the First Bank text line or 360-8255 at the First Bank phone line. We want your overreaction to NFL and college from the weekend as well about 4:50, and we want it to be almost ridiculous. We want it to be something like an overreaction, like keep it on college football and NFL, but we want it something along the lines of Bryson DeChambeau is going to break Jack Nicklaus's record of majors.
Oh, it's anything. It's not just football. It's just the overreaction.
No. I said I want it to keep it to college football and NFL, but I want it to be extreme. Mm-hmm. Like Bryson DeChambeau is going to top Jack Nicklaus.
Okay.
That's pretty extreme, isn't it?
That there's a long way to go for that.
there's a couple of clubs in his bag that they do not need to regrip this weekend. Did he ever need a 4, 5, 6, 7 iron all weekend?
I don't think so. All I know is he ever picked up was a driver
and a bunch of wedges
and some degree of wedges. Yeah, I don't exactly know what else. And
the caddy almost could have carried him in his hand.
Let me say
the clubs
this.
he needed.
DeChambeau was, I thought, eloquent in his post
almost
match
sweet. Yeah.
Interviews. First of all, when he walked out of the clubhouse and looked to his left on the television, they had a Zoom set up with his mother and father and really his family.
That hit him hard.
And he choked up. He had to turn away and he almost cried. And
a lot of hard work.
Oh my goodness, that was really beautiful there. And then when he spoke, and I give Guy credit, he's smart enough to go. He was asked a question by Steve Sands, who does a hell of a job, by the way. And he goes, well, thank you, Steve. But before we go into that, let me just tell you, I got to thank, boom, boom, boom. He listed about, 15 sponsors. Smart dude. Smart dude.
Guy.
And then he was eloquent, and he talked a little bit about how Jack Nicklaus had given him an exemption into his tournament and actually helped him when he needed advice. Same thing for Tiger Woods. And I bring those two up because here's the truth. There's only 3 guys in the history of golf now, 3 guys that have won an NCAA, a U.S. Amateur, and a U.S. Open. And they are those 3, Tiger, Jack, and DeChambeau. That's pretty amazing.
What a club. It is. This hour of our show brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Speaking of amazing, you can experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity September sales event soon to move into fall. Great offers on all 2020 models and 2021's on the way. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. 362-8833 is their phone number. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, I'm going to go positive today. Couple of things. Let's start with primetime. Deion Sanders officially, with a police escort and a big kind of parade and a marching band, he officially became the head coach at Jackson State University.
I love it.
I love it too. And here's a question that I can't wait to ask David Cobb when we talk with him in about 40 minutes. I'm going to ask David Cobb if he thinks that Deion Sanders, in this age now of Black Lives Matter, social injustice, can he bring guys that might come to SEC or Big Ten or ACC or AAC teams for that matter, can he talk those kinds of athletes that Grambling used to get? Can he talk them into coming to play for him with the notion that I can get you ready for the National Football League? Will he be able to accomplish that?
And everybody's got to have a first head coaching job. Remember, Jim Harbaugh, on the way up to being the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines and the San Francisco 49ers, he first was the head coach of the University of San Diego. Not San Diego State, but the Toreros. David Fisdale's alma mater.
Yeah. One other quick story. This just coming out from the president of the University of Memphis, Dr. Rudd, tweeting a little while ago that there might be a Tom 4, and it could happen relatively soon, and that the Memphis Zoo would be their partner, and that the new Tom would stay at the Memphis Zoo, and instead of coming to games live, he would come via a television camera onto the scoreboard, I guess. But that is apparently the better way to do it in 2020. But instead of the tradition totally ending, which is what we thought was going to happen, it appears there will be a Tom 4.
My top story, finally game week for the SEC, but sadly another cancellation for the Tigers. As our very own Drew Barrett tweeted Saturday, this will be the first September with only one Tigers game played in the month of September since 1964.
I was going to
and
say,
only the fifth time since World War II, only one game in the month of September.
Well,
that inspired me to look it up for Ole Miss. Saturday will be the only game in September for Ole Miss, and it'll be the first time Ole Miss has only played once in September, and it was against Florida in 1948.
Wow. So even in the 60s and 70s, when a lot of times real college or the regular students for college wouldn't show up until like September 15th, there have been at least two games most of the time. That is amazing. Speaking of all those cancellations, by the way, 20% of the scheduled games. So that means 80% have been played, but 20% so far have been postponed or canceled of this 2020 college football season.
Not top story of the day.
That is the COVID numbers. This is mixed, okay? So 231 new cases and one death. But here's what occurred. 5,300 tests from yesterday today at a 4.4% positivity rate. So we're getting all these tests. That's why we had the number of cases. But look at where you are now with positivity. Remember, we wanted it to be 10% below 10%. Well, 4.4% on that number, that leaves the total at almost 430,000 tests, and we are at 6.5%. There have been 30,000 cases. There are only 1,700 active at the moment. The hospital space keeps getting better. 23% of the ICU beds are COVID. Only 5% of all the acute beds. Those numbers keep going down. Christian Brothers had a little setback. The high school did. They are going completely virtual for 2 weeks after 6 new COVID cases were found, 2 adults and 4 students that apparently caught this from an event. They didn't say what, not related to class on campus, but nonetheless they are being proactive. In Tennessee, 183,000 cases, 2,200 deaths, 93,500 in Mississippi, 2,800 fatalities, 75,000 cases, about 1,200 who have passed away in Arkansas from COVID. Now across the U.S. we have 7 million cases, 204,000 who have passed. We have now passed 100 million tests, or just about. We've had 4.25 million who have recovered, 31.3 million throughout the world now, 966,000 who have passed, but 22.75 million who have recovered. We're still at 173 vaccines being worked on, but 3 that are in the vital final stretches of being tested.
My not top story, we may not be able to make a golf course to corral the power from Bryson DeChambeau. How do they beefcake-proof the courses? 8,200 yards? Well, if you do that, only about 2 or 3 can even attempt to win like that. But that's a little bit of overreaction, too, because he didn't win every week this year. I think that was the second time he's won this year. He's an impressive player. He was impressive before the Ball Cup, but now he's very impressive, and it's got to send shockwaves through the Poobahs at Augusta National because he could really make it look foolish.
I was trying to think, honestly, if there was a hole he could drive. Might be a dog leg that he could actually carry. I don't think there is. I'll ask Ted Butler. I don't believe there is, but you're right about that.
I don't think so.
But
he could get it down there to have one of those 56 degrees in his hand.
Let's just say on number 9, you know how they go down to the crosswalk right before the hill? I'm going to tell you he's going to get it halfway up the hill. He will get it halfway up the hill. He'll have a 60 degree in his hand for sure there. They don't have rough, so there's no penalty for him on that. The other aspect of that to me that is really, really amazing, and he did not elaborate when he was asked by Steve Sands, and Sands didn't press him. But what gave him the idea to do this? And how far did he think he could really hit it once he did? Now, the longest drive I know he had was 423 yards. Not at the U.S. Open, but it was at a tournament earlier this year. 423 yards. I believe he had a carry of 377 in that particular moment. But, he's not the only long one. You take a guy like Wolf, who obviously finished second, had the lead, and lost the lead in the first 4 holes the other day. He outdrove DeChambeau a couple of times. He hit a drive, 377 on number 9, their par 5, the one real scoreable hole on Winged Foot. He had 199 left, and the club he used to get to the green was a 9-iron. A 9-iron of 199 yards. So DeChambeau's not the only one. Boy, could you imagine if Wolf put on that kind of weight? He might hit it 500 yards. We got to take a timeout. We will talk with our friend Ted Butler about these things. So much college football, so much NFL still ahead. As you listen to Sports Time on this Monday, we are officially underway.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
All 75 months at 2.99 APR, G4, LHFO 7472, Outlander, LU02 9957, Eclipse, LZO 15617. Includes all rebates and incentives, PF 59875, excludes tax title and license, offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details.
Gossett's Mitsubishi Madness is in full swing at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike, and you'll find deals to get this party started. 2020 Mitsubishi Mirage G4 gets 41 MPG Highway. We Gossett at $139 a month or buy for $12,435. 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, built to handle any adventure at $229 a month or buy for $18,573. And take the 2020 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross for a spin at $19,107 or $229 a month. Get confidence today, tomorrow, and long into the future with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Mirage G4, $139 a month. Outlander Sport, $229 a month. And Eclipse Cross, $229 a month. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference, like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Kevin Harlan with Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner here from Westwood One with a preview of Monday Night Football. An exciting matchup in Week 2, Kurt, when the Las Vegas Raiders open their new stadium against Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. Both teams, Kurt, coming off season-opening wins. How do you see this matchup?
Well, I'm only going to mention Drew Brees once because I really want to see Josh Jacobs, offensive line of the Las Vegas Raiders, against this Saints defense that made Tom Brady and company look pedestrian last week. So Derek Carr, can they get that run game going? Can they score some points against the Saints defense? But obviously Drew Brees will be a key as well.
All right, join us from Las Vegas for the Raiders and the Saints on Monday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference. Like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
O'Reilly Auto Parts has what you need to keep your engine performing at its best. Our professional parts people will help you select just the right products for your car and budget, like 5 quarts of Castrol GTX conventional or high mileage motor oil and a MicroGuard filter, just $28.99. Plus earn double O Rewards points. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Ugh, my stomach.
Don't worry, I've got you covered.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
What's that?
It's Pepto-Bismol Chews.
Pepto-Bismol's now in a chew?
Yeah, they taste great and provide fast relief. And now you can always have Pepto-Bismol handy.
Let me try it.
Try new Pepto-Bismol Chews for fast relief.
Nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Voloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back into the Family Leisure Studios. Wonder if you got a chance to get by there over the weekend. If you did, you saw how great the store looks. You saw that we're in the middle of the world's biggest spa sale. You've got time. It's going through October where you get up to 30% off on spas and even those big swim spas. And you can choose from hundreds and from different spa manufacturers, multiple manufacturers, and we're talking state-of-the-art equipment here. It is really something else, and there's special financing available if you need it. Also, right now, because we are at the end of summer, there is a big sale on chemicals and accessories. You'll really like the price that you will see on these, and professional deliveries available to your home, or they'll bring it out to the parking lot and load your truck. Whatever you need, you let Billy Connerly or you let Lindsay or anybody there help you out. They are all about help at Family Leisure, making your patio, your backyard, a staycation place. Here's the story. I just got the green light I can use. Not official yet, but Austin Hall. I really felt bad for Austin Hall. The former Tiger linebacker / safety was, because of the pandemic, never really got a shot to go to these camps, didn't have a pro day to really impress guys as to what he could do. Well, somehow, some way, he got a tryout today with the Cleveland Browns. We haven't heard if he's going to be taken, put on the scout team that they've got, but he did get a look today with the Cleveland Browns. So cross your fingers. What a great young kid he is. I think he's a special guy.
Sure
Austin Hall getting a chance.
And Dave, Drew can verify this. I've been saying for however many years since I first started watching him play regular, I don't know who taught him to tackle, but it was textbook. It was perfect.
You have said that. You said that a bunch.
It's a demo tape.
Well, you really studied him for the opening game last year when Memphis played Ole Miss, and I think he impressed you more than Brady White or Kenny Gainwell or any of those guys.
And it's the modern form of tackling that's perfect, that won't hurt him or hurt the other guy.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
With how he keeps his head and neck.
The only thing really that got hurt this weekend was the pride and ego of Winged Foot Golf Course. It was taken to task by a long ball hitter like we've never seen before. Chicks love the long ball. Well, they got to love Bryson DeChambeau. Ted Butler joins us now. Did you ever in your life, with all of the teaching that you have done and all of the swings that you have examined, because that's how you work, you look at these things so that you can impart them onto your students. There's no one knows more about all the different swings, maybe Peter Costas, but he's about it, than you. Did you ever in your life, Ted Butler, think you'd see a guy like this? He apparently has been so taken aback by it. We couldn't get him. I think we got a little problem there. Yeah, his phone went out. We'll try to re-get him.
It was really the last group yesterday was the anti-teacher, anti-demo tape on display. You wouldn't teach either one of those swings.
Well, Matthew Wolf, every player has a slight forward press, right? There's some trigger to start his swing. And Matthew Wolf's trigger is to bend his knees, lift his left foot up, and then start to go back. It's almost like he starts forward before he starts back. Maybe that's how he gets the kind of power that he gets. I mean, it is insane the way he swings.
But you wouldn't dare change those swings, but you wouldn't dare teach them.
No. Now, DeChambeau, I mean, he came up with this whole thing on his own. It started with all clubs being the same length. And again, I'm sure this will be revealed with time. But where did he get it in his head? And I know he had that trainer there that helped bulk him up and is also a swing guru. But where did they come up with this idea where you could get big enough to get enough swing speed to overpower PGA Tour courses that are 7,500 yards? Where
that takes a lot of gumption and gall just to dream that up.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if we can get Ted Butler this time. Where he might be out in Brownsville, where I'm not sure they have phone service. You there, Ted?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I have no idea what happened.
Okay.
So it just went away.
Let me rephrase that. Have you ever, in all your studies, seen a swing like that?
No. I've seen a lot of people swing hard and never hit the middle of the club face, and he hit it just about all the time. The trajectory, the curvature is it's mind-boggling, and he wasn't at all intimidated by Wingfoot. Walking down the fairways, he was talking about his swing and the wind and this and that, and it was the course didn't bother him at all. I'm disbelief about it, really.
Are you more surprised at his length, or are you more surprised how with his strength, and almost every time he would have a wedge of some degree in his hands, that the rough was never too thick for him?
No, it didn't bother him at all. When you're that strong and you're hitting a wedge or a short iron like that, and with the firm shafts and the long clubs that he uses, it's like light rough for the rest of it. For the rest of us, I mean, the rough is not even an issue. The thing that amazed me even more than that was his short game. Some of the chip shots he hit from around the green, some of the flop shots, and his putting. Number one from 10 feet in. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just the driver. The driver put him in position to do all this stuff. But if you don't make all those 10-footers and you don't chip it close out of the rough, you can't do what he did. And I'm just amazed by it. I'm flabbergasted, frankly.
Now, Ted, we need to give him credit. He was the only one that did that to Wingfoot, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The course on Sunday was more like you would expect it to play because it got a little windier and the greens got a little bit firmer. But the first 2 days, the wind, there was no wind. It was perfect conditions, and the greens were actually holding. So it didn't seem as hard as it has in the past, but it didn't make any difference to him. I mean, hitting the ball, and Wolf outdrove him a couple times,
yeah.
But that was with that screaming line drive draw that he hits that rolls 100 yards. Bryson carries it out there. He's carrying it 350. And there's guys that can hit it as far occasionally, but not as high over the trees like he does. And as far as Augusta, I think yeah, you're right on number 9. I mean, he can knock it over those trees. He can easily drive number 3. Yeah, they drive that now. But I'm thinking about holes like 13. Cutting across that corner, you might be in the chip shot to 13. There's no telling.
On 11, could he go over that lake with a cut shot?
I don't know. 11. I'm trying to think what lake you left.
Well, there's water left of the green. Remember?
Yeah, left
Yeah,
the green.
and they put
right.
the trees in for Tiger Woods. On the right, but I mean,
the trees
he
on the
might
right,
end up
right.
in Larry Mize country, line
With the
one.
It's not impossible.
Yeah,
that's
what I'm thinking. He would cut it because there is room on the
Dave,
left
that's
side over the
unbelievable.
trees.
It just hit me. He could be there.
He could. I think he could. He could be where Mize was and won. Think about that.
I was thinking about it last night. I'm thinking, Augusta National's coming up. Now what? And you just have to wonder if he can keep doing it. I mean, how can you? He's not winning every term he plays in.
No.
So he does hit some bad shots. It just he happened to show up this week with his A-plus game, and everything he does is so. It's taking everything to the limit. He said, I'm going to pick up 10 more pounds for Augusta, and I'm going to go to a 48-inch driver. I'm not sure what he's got now. It must be 45 or 6, but he's taking everything to the absolute limit in golf.
So
that's taking Babe Ruth big lumber up there.
It is.
Well,
Here's the thing: we talk about how he's revolutionizing golf. I'm not sure there's anybody else that could do the things like he says I'm going to gain 10 more pounds. That means he gains 50 from what he was a year ago, all of muscle. I don't know how many people could do that, and no one is disciplined to repeat his swing the way this guy is. He has an unorthodox swing that he basically invented through physics, and the same length clubs, and he repeats it every time. I'm not sure there's anybody else that could do what this scientific sort of crazy mind has come up with.
Well, and it's been going for a long time. I mean, he's been thinking about this stuff for years and years, and he is in the position of doesn't have a girlfriend. He's not married, so he's nothing but golf. It's 24/7 golf, and his mind. I mean, I don't know if he's a genius or not, but mentally he's way above everybody else as far as the technique and how much you can push it. Imagine somebody turning on TV the other day that didn't know much about golf and saw Matthew Wolff and DeChambeau on the final group of something. They didn't know who they were and what kind of swings they were making.
Yeah. I got that swing. My buddy out at the Municipal swings like that. Ted, do you think, and this is a very speculative question, but we want you to weigh in. I want you to weigh in. Do you think he will be endearing come Augusta National and people will be pulling for him, or do you think people will want him served up a slice of humble pie by the Augusta National course?
I would think the slice of humble pie. I'm not so sure. I don't know. I'm not so sure how well liked he is. A lot of the people I teach don't like him for different reasons. But today, several lessons ago, I don't like that guy anyway. I hope he shoots 80. And never went into explaining why. But
who said that?
I don't know.
Who said that? Who said that today?
Students that I teach, and then not just today. I mean, I had it over this whole year. The way he's been talking and the way he acts, and there's people that just don't like him.
I will say he kind of won me over yesterday. I was not pulling for him. I was pulling for Matthew Wolff, but as the day went on, and I watched this incredible performance, and then saw him. I'm not going to say he was contrite or trying to be mass appealing to everybody in his post game interviews, but I thought he was real, and his love for his family was pretty evident. His thankfulness of his sponsors, his doing. The obligatory we thank Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods kind of stuff. That was a part of it. And so he did kind of win me over, and we are seeing something that is really, truly unique. So I kind of think that he may end up getting more people liking him than originally I thought. He's got to stop this thing where he yells at cameramen, which he did, and that was the first sign of where people stopped liking him. But winning goes a long way, and winning in a fashion when no one else can goes even further. And so I got a feeling. I think people are going to be pulling for him at Augusta. Now, don't get me wrong. If this is Tiger versus DeChambeau on Sunday afternoon, there's no question who they're going to be for. But if it's him against Rory, I'm not sure. And by the way, Rory's reaction, a lot of these players' reactions, they didn't like him. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I think I've lost you.
I think it's the cue that we got to go. I think we've lost him. He's coming in and out again. But, Brett, it was pretty evident to me, I thought, honestly, that you could tell the players are not endeared to him at all.
Well, if he wins enough, that'll swing them around too.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. This portion of our show is brought to you by the Spirit Shop. Okay, hope you had a great weekend. I hope you went on Friday, like I told you, to go see my friend Eddie Connor at the Spirit Shop. That is that little log cabin right there at Poplar and St. Nick, 4848 Poplar to be exact. You've seen it before. It's right down from Clark Tower. You've passed it by and probably wondered how much stuff could be in there. A ton. Go in and see for yourself. You'll love what you see in there, and then you'll love even more the service. If you're a little leery of going in, got to wear a mask, but if you are, call in advance. Say, look, will you curbside this for me? I promise you, Eddie Connor is all about service. He will do that for you. If you've got a wine in mind that he doesn't carry, but the winery says it's legal for him to bring it in from Washington State or Oregon or wherever you want to get that wine, he'll do it. Just tell him. He'll call the winery. It's all about service. Same thing with bourbon, same thing with tequila, same thing with any kind of gin or vodka, whatever spirit it is, he goes the extra mile. Family owned and operated since 1969. When you've lasted that long, there's a reason. Please go see for yourself why. Go see Eddie and all the gang at the Spirit Shop at Poplar and St. Nick. We've got Medals, a shortened edition, coming your way in a minute.
It's R&R on Sports.
The word is out about R&R on Sports, where you've heard interviews from
Ken Griffith Jr., Dr. J, Hank Aaron, and many, many more.
R&R on Sports, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m., Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1.
Don't miss us.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage. Factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's
Hey, Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Wolf Chase Honda Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday night at 5 right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7. You never know which Tigers great we'll have in the studio with us either. We'll get them to call in, too. We are your go-to show for Memphis Tigers football. That's the Wolf Chase Honda Blue and Gray Show right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Monday Night Football, and we know how you should start Monday Night Football. It should be stopping by either commissary, the new Collierville commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. You can watch Monday Night Football on the patio at the Collierville commissary, and you can get it to go from both places at Memphis-style barbecue. The ribs, so delicious. Authentic Memphis-style, great food. Slow, that's how it's Memphis-style. And begin that feast with the appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamale or the barbecue nachos, invented and created and sold first by the people at the commissary, by Walker Taylor at the commissary. The smoked chicken wings, make a meal out of that. Comes with beans, slaw, deviled eggs, bread as well. You can even order it by the pound or a 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack. We often give away 6-packs right here on this show. Dig into the ribs, the barbecue shoulder, get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich, a gigantic sandwich, or get it on the plate. You'll like it any style you get it in. The salads, the chicken plate, the barbecue shrimp, the tamales, everything terrific, and wrap it up with what I think is the best lemon icebox pie anywhere I've ever had in the world. It's at the commissary, the Germantown commissary, the Collierville commissary, 754-5540, online at commissarybarbecue.com in Collierville and Germantown in the party areas. Start your tailgate there and keep that 36-hour holiday bird in mind. You want to start thinking about getting on that list. All at the commissary, 754-5540.
Time for precious metals. Got a bunch. I'll start with a bronze for Harrison Butker. He is as tough mentally as Dick Butkus was tough physically. The guy only kicks 53-yarders, 58-yarders.
What's the common denominator here? But!
Yeah. Butka. Yeah, he's incredible. This guy, they tried to ice him. He kicked a 53. They said, no, we got a little procedure. He kicked a 58. No, there was a timeout. Kicked another 58-yarder. This was after earlier in the game he kicked the 58-yarder for the Kansas City Chiefs. There's no stopping this dude. He is tough. He's one of those kickers worth their weight in bronze, you could say. He gets a bronze medal. I got to give Nikolai Jokic, I got to give him a bronze. He scored Denver's last 11 points. He was trying to will his team into evening the Western Conference Finals in the NBA. He just ran into a silver medalist in Anthony Davis, who hit the big shot. He had, I think, 9 points at the half and 30-something for the game. He was unbelievable. They were going to sag on LeBron, and he came around. Plumlee read the screen wrong. Jokic tried to catch up. The shot came over. Nothing but net as the horn went off. And what a big shot for AD. He gets a silver. Josh Allen gets a silver. The Buffalo Bills quarterback, much maligned by Brett Norsworthy, had 417 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions in the win over Miami. And the Bills are now 2-0. And there's only one gold medal for a guy who becomes one of only 3, Jack and Tiger, to have won an NCAA, to have won a U.S. Amateur, and now to have won a U.S. Open, Bryson DeChambeau.
I'm going to start with from the American Athletic Conference. The Navy come back down 24-0 down at Ullman Stadium on the campus of Tulane to win the game. It looked like Tulane was easily going to start 2-0. Instead, the Naval Academy, they come back silver medal. A former AACer, Derek King, for the U, 47 easy on Louisville. They got to 47 easy. Another AAC, current Dylan Gabriel, 417, 4 touchdowns for UCF. He gets a silver Man, what you got to do to get a gold? You got to be Josh Allen and throw for 417 and 4 touchdowns with my Bills, the 2-0 Bills. My Bills, I love those Bills. Joe Ferguson, back to O.J. Well, maybe not O.J., but Joe Ferguson at least. Another goal goes to Dak Prescott. He had 450 passing, 1 touchdown pass, 3 touchdown runs. And my final goal, he got the Jack Nicklaus gold medal yesterday on the green ceremony. Beefcakes.
No doubt. I got Russ. I got to give a rust to the Atlanta all-hands team. Do you know that when there's an onside kick, you're allowed to get it whenever you want to? You don't have to wait for it to go 10 yards?
You're supposed to attack it. Every special teams coach I've ever known says attack it. Don't play first base. Go to it. Play shortstop.
And are they paying those guys? Are they pros? Are they supposed to know the rules? How could Atlanta do that? And they gave Dallas a win yesterday. I got to give the pollsters, the voters who dropped the Tigers for not even playing a football game, especially the coaches who dropped them from 15 to 20. Oh, my goodness. And
imagine what a loss would do.
I've got to give the NFL a rust for all the injuries, especially MetLife Field in New York, where 4 San Francisco 49ers went down. And here's the bad news. They got to play there not this week, but the week after. They played the Jets. Now they got to play the Giants. They got to do something with that field. But when you get 21 injuries on your second week and players like Nick Bosa, Saquon Barkley, Jimmy Garoppolo, Drew Lock, McCaffrey. Wow. I mean, there's so many guys that are out for at least a month. Some of them are ACLs. It was a crippling day for the National Football League.
Only 2 rusts for me, and it's to Dan Quinn and Bill O'Brien, and they have to be worried every time the phone rings.
Yeah. I hear you. This portion of our show is brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Group. That's Matt Eflin. You know him. He's been around forever. And Matt and his team, well, they're professionals. They have access to 10 leading companies to find the best and the right home and auto program that fits your needs and fits your budget. And they'll sit you down and find out exactly what the needs are and what you have. And then they take care of you. Same thing with commercial insurance. His guys, his gals, they're ready to find you the perfect protection. For a small or mid-sized business, they have virtually unlimited access to programs there. And then I don't want you to forget about life insurance. Eflin's got you covered there with quotes from 15 well-respected companies. You never wonder if you've gotten a good deal. With 15 opportunities, they find the perfect deal for you in life insurance. Call Grant, Andrew, or Heath at 901-386-4777. That's GER. They're Tiger fans. 901-386-4777. That's the Eflin Insurance Group. That's an hour in the books. When we come back, our friend David Cobb from CBS on the signing of Deion Sanders at Jackson State. Yes, he wrote the story for CBS. He'll talk about it in just a minute.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Limb Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC-accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Limb Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselemembrace.com.
Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
Farmers Insurance knows that there's a not-so-subtle difference between the sound of a car hitting your rear bumper and the sound of a clown car hitting your rear bumper.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Sorry about that.
We call that a three-ring fender bender, and we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent.
They know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
The day has come for huge savings at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat with Jeep Adventure Days and Ram Power Days going strong on Covington Pike. Get 0% APR plus no payments for 90 days. New 2020 Jeep Cherokee Latitude IIHS top safety pick $21,740 or $275 a month. 2020 Dodge Challenger, a muscle car with best-in-class cargo volume, $24,690 or $318 a month. 2020 Dodge Charger, America's fastest four-door muscle car, $24,990 or $329 a month. And 2020 Ram 1500 Tradesman Quad Cab, $366 a month. Drive past the rest. Come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat, 1901 Covington Pike. Online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 3.99 APR, $3,500 down. Must finance through Chrysler, Cherokee, LD 561583, Challenger, LH 214,740, Charger, LH 116,732, 1500 LS 139,171. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome in on hour number 2 on a marvelous Monday. Feels like San Diego around here. The weather is spectacular. Spectacular. Best way that I could say. A little newsy day, too. Not as much as some days, but heck, it's not every day that a guy like Deion Sanders becomes a first-time coach at Jackson State. We're going to talk with David Cobb from CBS. He wrote the story for CBS about that in just a couple of seconds. Also, we did get the day and the time for the Tigers SMU game on October the 3rd. That is at 2:30. It will be on ESPN2. And then we found out a little bit after that from the president of the university, Dr. M. David Rudd, tweeting out that there could be a Tom 4 who will be housed at the Memphis Zoo. So lots of football, we're all still in awe of golf. And I want to point out somebody texted on the First Bank text line. And I did see this story the other day. He's right on the money. We thank him for that. Bryson DeChambeau got the idea of the same length irons. When he was walking through Augusta National several years ago, he saw a bag of Bobby Jones irons from way back then and noticed that everyone was the same length, and that got that scientific mind to thinking, and then he obviously put it to incredibly good use. So that is where the original idea came from. So that is really cool. We mentioned we love chatting with our friend David Cobb every Monday in this time slot. Now we got so many things to talk about. Let's begin, though, with Deion Sanders. You wrote the story. Here's my first question for you. I threw it out loud in the very first hour. Because of the times as they are right now, and more people are so conscious of the Black Lives Movement and social justice, and we used to know Grambling put as many players in the NFL as many schools in the SEC, way back when, before there was the integration of schools. Do you think a power like Deion, with persuasion and charisma and the sales pitch, kind of like Penny, where if you come here, I can get you in the NFL, do you think David Cobb, he has the power to bring top-flight SEC, Big Ten athletes to Jackson, Mississippi?
Yes, it's just a question of how invested he's going to be in it. And, you make the Penny comparison, and in a lot of ways it's valid. But Penny, although he hadn't been a college coach, much like Deion has not been a college coach, Penny had a track record through the AAU ranks, through the high school ranks, a successful track record as a coach. If you look back at Deion Sanders' track record as a coach, you see that right now he's the offensive coordinator for his son's school in Texas, and that his son has a scholarship offer that he's accepted to Florida Atlantic. And if you just stop there, you're like, okay, that's good. He's got a good coaching foundation. But if you go back to the prime prep saga of Deion's post-playing career, you start to get a little iffy there. And there was a lot of controversy. The thing basically failed. It just didn't pass the smell test. And so I think Penny's track record is much better than Dion's. But yes, much in the same way that Penny is a household name, Dion is as well. It's probably even more so around the country. So it's just, to me, a matter of how invested he wants to be, because it's not going to be easy. I mean, that's a school that hasn't been very successful in recent years. There will be limited resources. And, I mean, he's going to have to grind. And I know he's got his hand in other things. He's active in media with Barstool. You know, he's been an analyst in the past. In fact, he unveiled this news officially on a podcast last night. So I think that sort of tells you that Dion's going about this in an unconventional way. That doesn't mean it can't work. I'm just skeptical that he's really going to put in, I mean, the 80, 90-hour weeks that it takes to be a successful Division I football coach.
Yeah, and David, historically in sports, there have been some, but it's not many of superstars that became great coaches. There are some, but this would definitely check one off because he was mega superstar, 2 sports, but for sure NFL superstar in the secondary and in the return game. And if he becomes, if this is the first leg of a 20-year coaching career, then he would definitely maybe become the biggest superstar that ever went on to coach, because a lot of the reasons why, it's the old Bob Gibson story. When he'd go change a pitcher as the pitching coach for Joe Torre and the Braves, he'd go out there and tell a guy, he goes, why aren't you just throwing it by him? And the pitcher would go, or Skip or assistant coach Bob Gibson, whatever they called him, I can't. Not many people can do what you could do. Ted Williams, when he was manager of the Washington Senators, when you get down 1-2, just get on that back foot and drive it to left center. I can't. I'm not you. And that's one of the biggest problems the superstars run into. Hey, George Brett, as hitting coach for the Royals, lasted about 2 weeks when he realized they all didn't want to grind like he did. And you mentioned the grind.
Yeah, so my question is what sort of staff can he assemble at Jackson State? What sort of budget is available to them now during these economic times to go out and get some up-and-coming coaches who can, kind of grind on the film side and grind on the player development side, while Dion pursues this from a standpoint of being a face of the program and a recruiter, because those are the aspects in which he will shine. Because I think what you're saying is true. I mean, yeah, absolutely. You want Deion Sanders, working with your defensive backs and your punt returners and being hands-on with those guys. But a lot of how successful they will be on the field will depend on the sort of staff that he has around him. And, and a lot of it in college football programs, it's the culture of the program is set from the top down. And so if your staff sees you working 80, 90 hours a week, and not that I'm sitting here encouraging anyone to do that, that can be very unhealthy, but in college football, we know that's what it takes. And so if they see him putting in those hours on the recruiting trail and trying to develop his players and trying to get his players to NFL workouts, then I think his staff will follow suit, and this thing could be very successful. If they see him, occasionally getting on a plane to go see a recruit that he thinks he can get, and then spending a lot of time on side ventures, it'll be hard, I think, for him to motivate his staff. And so that, to me, is a key element in all this. And I have no idea how far down the road he is in that regard. But can he assemble some quality assistants, hopefully somebody on that staff who maybe has head coaching experience in the past, to really make this thing work? Because if he gets the right pieces around him on his staff, I think he could be successful if he delegates well. But again, we'll see. But hey, I think it's an awesome hire. I think it's for Jackson State, it's a home run. I mean, and it was weird the days leading up to it, how they sort of denied. But I think it's a great hire. I mean, the fact is, the entire country is talking about this right now.
Well, it is a grand slam for a program that never gets publicity, and he brings it. And it is an experiment where a predominantly or historical black college or university has a chance maybe to break into a big-time level because who is at the helm? I have no idea what kind of commitment he makes. I do suspect this. If he does make the right commitment, I think he'll be successful. He's done well at just about everything he puts his mind to. And I mean, how could you, if you had that opportunity, if you're that university, how could you not take it? I am not sure, David, how this whole thing came about. Whose idea was this?
Well, I think it's Dion's desire and stated desire to be a college football head coach. I mean, he's been pretty vocal about that. In fact, he's even tricked people into reporting that he's been a candidate for other jobs. I mean, like big-time jobs, like Power 5 jobs, which is just absurd because it's one thing for a guy like, Penny or Patrick Ewing to get a head coaching job. Patrick Ewing was an NBA assistant for years and years after his playing career. Penny was an extremely successful high school coach, an AAU coach who, oh, by the way, he's going to coach at his alma mater in his hometown where he, already lives. With Dion, I mean, I know he went to FSU, but still, it's just a different world with the football side of it. And the other thing is I hope that Jackson State's willing to beef up its compliance department. And I don't mean that in a negative way towards Dion. It's just so difficult when you come from when you're not in the NCAA football world on a day-to-day basis to enter it blind to all of the rules and all of the red tape that you have to navigate with recruiting in regards to not breaking rules and just dealing with boosters and those sorts of things. So I hope that they've got some pretty strong guardrails in place because that's the other area in which this thing could go wrong is if he is just just given the keys to the car and runs it off the road because he just hasn't been involved in the college game and maybe doesn't understand the nuances and the details that is the, ever expanding NCAA rule book. And so, if their compliance department is dedicated to policing him a little bit, I think that will help. But again, that's a guy, who is an absolute megastar who's probably not used to, being coerced or prodded in ways that he doesn't like. And so that's something that he's going to have to accept, if he wants to be successful, because I mean, there's just so much treachery out there, even for guys who have been college coaches for a long time. They find themselves in hot water. Pat Narduzzi comes to mind at Pitt over the offseason. They got hit with, doing some illegal things at practices they weren't supposed to do. So it's not just recruiting. And that's, something that he's going to have to look out for.
David, one of the more unenviable jobs in all of college football this year will be taken on, and I think he is up to it. It will be taken on by Miles Brennan. He's got to be the successor to the number one player in the history of LSU football. Yeah, bigger than Billy Cannon, bigger than Burt Jones, bigger than any of them. It was Joe Burrow, and Miles Brennan has to take that job. I texted you back early in the summer of the quarterbacks in the SEC that have had to replace Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks. This is the biggest shoes ever to step in on. He steps in at Saturday at Tiger Stadium against Mississippi State. How do you think he'll do?
I mean, if LSU, heaven forbid, loses that game or just doesn't look very good, I hope people realize there will be more scapegoats than just a drop-off in quarterback play. Because, I mean, this is essentially LSU's JV team from a year ago. And, I mean, of course, like a lot of these guys are former 4- and 5-star prospects, so, like, the talent level is there. But, I mean, they lost, I think it's close to maybe 19 now starting from the national championship team, not to mention Joe Brady, who was widely credited with orchestrating Burrow's passing attack. He's gone. Dave Aranda's now the head coach at Baylor. He was their defensive coordinator. So just the insane amount of turnover. And yes, Miles Brennan is, I think, a capable quarterback. But I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Jamar Chase has opted out, and he was expected to be one of the best receivers in the country. So I mean, this is a depleted LSU team, and if they get even a decent quarterback play given those circumstances, I think Miles Brennan will, deserves a lot of credit. So, I mean, I would expect for that LSU fan base to sort of have realistic expectations for him. But we know, especially in college football and in the SEC in particular, a lot of the weight and a lot of the blame falls on the quarterback when things go wrong. And so, I mean, I'm not optimistic that this is going to be a real feel-good sort of season for Miles Brennan. But, I mean, if he keeps things on the road and they go 8-2, that would, to me, would be a fantastic success for him.
I agree. I think that's possible. Since you bring up LSU, I got to ask you guys if you saw Coach O, Ed Orgeron was the number 3 story last night on 60 Minutes. And it really, really struck me. I have talked with Ron Higgins several times about Ed Orgeron. And by the way, Ron Higgins has just written a book. I got a copy of it. We're going to get him on here in a few weeks. But Ed Orgeron, when he was at Ole Miss, was green. He was raw. He was not very polished at all. He turned a lot of people off, and it didn't last very long. He really, honestly, totally remade himself. He is a 180 different guy than he was. And last night on 60 Minutes, his mother was on there chatting with the reporter, invited him for gumbo, talked about growing up. His father was a high school coach. And Ed Orgeron was really delightful. I'm not sure I've ever seen a coach pretty established. Even when he'd been around, he wasn't totally inexperienced when he got to Ole Miss to be the head coach. I've never seen a guy change as much as Ed Orgeron has. I'm asking if you guys have ever seen a metamorphosis as big as his.
I will defer to stats because I cannot. I just. It's unbelievable. By the way, I was surprised that piece was as flattering as it was, considering the COVID-19 issues they've had. But stats, I can't think of a coach who fits the description of what Wolo was talking about better than Ed O.
Well, and a great place to do a coaching metamorphosis is taking the LSU job.
True. Well, that's
true.
That
and
is
he was
true.
He's just a fantastic cultural fit there. So I think there's a comfort level for him at LSU because he just fits that culture to a T. I mean, he is as Cajun as they come. So I think that helps a lot. It's just that comfort. And you got to remember, too, he was essentially the head coach there at USC for a while. And so, he
replaced Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
And he did a good job.
Two robust college head coaching experiences that he brought in, and inherited a pretty dang good roster, too. And I can't remember what team it was they lost to. Was it Northwestern State or somebody who – it looked like this thing was going to be in trouble right out of the gate with Ed O. And you got to give him credit; he's done a phenomenal job. But this will be a tremendous test. I don't think that they're safe against Mississippi State. I think that air raid that Mike Leach is going to trot out there with an experienced quarterback in KJ Costello could give LSU a lot of trouble out of the gate. So, to me, I think this season could be, the biggest test of Ed Orgeron's coaching career.
Me too. Now, he has done a great job. I want to give him all due credit. National champion, 15-0, arguably the greatest team in the history of the SEC. But it was a lot easier to do it there than to do it at UNLV.
Right.
I don't think anybody would dispute that. And David, you mentioned the COVID and the way he talked about it. To me, it struck a chord. Why not get it now? You got – you're talking about this is 3-4 weeks before the season began. Now, he didn't say all of his players. He said most of his players had it, which means now they got antibodies and maybe even a little bit, since you're in a bubble, of a herd immunity in your whole system. It's a little like Texas Tech, who had, 75 cases and now 69 are recovered. They all have antibodies. So you shouldn't have any issues because – your guys have already had it.
I don't think anybody would, other than the fans of those respective schools, would sit here and endorse that philosophy. But I think it's interesting, isn't it, that Clemson is also one of those teams that nearly everybody on the roster has had it. So you got Clemson and LSU, and of course Texas Tech, and maybe some others now that we don't know about. Memphis might even be getting close to that,
exactly.
To that sort of territory.
Right.
But isn't it interesting, though, that Clemson and LSU, who played for the national title last year, are two of those teams? Because I don't think we're as worried when they trot out there for pregame warm-ups an hour before the game about who's going to be missing from either of those teams. But the other 13 teams in the SEC, it's going to be extremely interesting on Saturday just to see who is even in uniform. If you read the quotes from these today, every coach is just playing it so close to the vest. I think Elijah Drinkwitz of Missouri is the only one who's been relatively forthcoming that I've seen about their numbers. I think Missouri's at least 12 guys that won't be participating due to COVID restrictions. We know LSU's probably mostly in the clear, but the other 12, I really have no idea. And to a certain extent, the coaches still don't either, because if they're going to abide by those contract tracing rules, they probably won't know for sure until that last round of testing on Friday.
David, give us your SEC championship game, eventual champion, and your surprise SEC team for what starts on Saturday.
Well, I like Alabama and Florida, actually, in the SEC title game. I've got questions about Georgia. I don't think it's a great sign that DeJuan Mathis is getting all the buzz at quarterback for Georgia in preseason camp, because to me that tells me that JT Daniels is probably not all that healthy. I guess you could look at it the other way. If they're touting DeJuan Mathis and he's the likely starter over JT Daniels, then he must be really, really good, because we think that JT Daniels is a pretty good quarterback. So I just have questions about Georgia. They replace a ton on offense. We need to figure out who their playmakers are going to be. I think Florida's got more proven depth back across both sides of the ball. So I'm going with Florida out of the East. Alabama's not a trendy or a surprise pick at all, but I think my surprise team out of the SEC would probably be Auburn. I think Bo Nix will take a big step forward. I think that Auburn is one of those teams that is built to withstand the rigors of this 10-game SEC season. I think they could go 7-3 or 8-2 and be in the mix there in the last couple of weeks to sneak into the SEC championship game. But I would say Mississippi State, in my mind, and Ole Miss, really too, for that matter, are not far behind. I'm really curious to see what they can do, and both of those teams have a tremendous opportunity on Saturday to just flip the SEC on its head with Mississippi State and LSU, and then, of course, Ole Miss and Florida. I don't think that Florida and LSU are just, locks necessarily in those games. They're obviously the favorites, but Miss and Mississippi State both, depending on how the roster situations look on Saturday, will have an outside chance in those games.
It all begins for real. I love it. That's what we're here for. Hopefully we get through this. There's not a lot of leeway, especially with the Big Ten playing. They're supposed to play 9 games in 9 weeks, and good luck on that when we've seen 20% of the games already canceled or postponed, but 80% have been played. So let's just hope the numbers keep getting better and better and better. David Cobb, as always, we appreciate it. And your stories are only going to get more and more interesting as we read you at CBS.
That's right.
Thanks, my friend. You got it.
Thank you, David.
That is David Cobb, brought to you in part by our title sponsor. That would be Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, also home to Genesis of Olive Branch, same building, same great crew. They've been together for 13 years. Think about that. Working every day, same people, how efficient they are, how they know all of the great financing, all of the great service, and they've put it together for that many years, and they still have more and more customers because people have come to know what they deliver. They're the standard for the white car business should be done. And then they got this product, like the new Sonata that I've got with Smart Park. I can literally get out of the car, and if it's a parking spot that's too tight, I don't want to have to open up my door. Boom, I just hit the key fob and the car goes in. It's amazing technology and durable. Every car gets a limited lifetime powertrain warranty. That's every new Genesis, every new Hyundai, or a 3-year, 36,000, I shouldn't say or, and a 30-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package on every new vehicle. And I talk about that technology. How about the safety technology? Hyundai tied for the most number of top safety pick vehicles in 2020, and the 21s have started to arrive, like my Sonata. The 21s are there. Go see for yourself. Get on Lamar. Into Mississippi, turn left at the very first exit. That's Craft Road. You will have arrived. You'll love what you see at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We take a quick time out. How crazy has this been for the University of Memphis over the last 2 weeks with all of these cancellations? Assistant Athletic Director Steve Macy will tell us all about that in just a minute.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
I'm John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your air conditioning system tuned up? What about your heating system safety check? Good news, you can get both at the same time this month. Call Conway Services for our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your air conditioning system for only $69. We'll remove years of dirt, grime, and leaves from your air conditioning system. It's like taking your air conditioner to a car wash, all for only $69. And we'll include a heating system safety check at no charge. That's right, Conway Services 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up for only $69, and we'll They'll include a heating system safety check at no charge, making sure your heating system is ready for this winter. If that's not enough, we'll include a carbon monoxide test, all for only $69. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. And call this week, and we'll perform your super tune-up for only $57 with a free heating system safety check.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Lemon Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC accredited facility and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Lemon Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaseLemonBrace.com.
Dedicated our life to yours. Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
All 75 months at 2.99 APR. G4 LHFO 7472. Outlander LU 029957. Eclipse LZO 15617. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 59875. Excludes tax, title, and license. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details.
Gossett's Mitsubishi Madness is in full swing at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike, and you'll find deals to get this party started. 2020 Mitsubishi Mirage G4 gets 41 MPG Highway. We Gossett at $139 a month or buy for $12,435. 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, built to handle any adventure at $229 a month or buy for $18,573. And take the 2020 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross for a spin at $19,107 or $229 a month. Get confidence today, tomorrow, and long into the future with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Mirage G4, $139 a month. Outlander Sport, $229 a month. And Eclipse Cross, $229 a month. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in, halfway through our Monday. It's a marvelous Monday, that is for sure. Weather has just been incredible. I mean, you didn't get out and play golf in the last few days and you love golf, get on out there. And I should point out, this is sort of news. All of the major city golf courses, Galloway, Fox, Audubon, Pine Hill, they all have new golf carts with GPS. I think it's going to cost you a couple more bucks starting October 1st, but it's worth it because now you don't even need your rangefinders. And they're really cool. These things are accurate as heck. I've checked them out. I've tested them. So good news. Mickey Barker always doing a great job with all of the city golf courses. I should tell you this portion of the show is brought to you by Supercuts. That's Rob Check's family. They've owned this incredible franchise for 30 years. They've got 15 of them now. They moved here without any. They started with one, and every other year they've added one. And nothing is more important to them than the health and safety of their employees, their team, and, of course, the Memphis community. all Memphis Supercuts are reopened now, and they've got this thing called the Safe Salon Commitment in place. That thing was developed in partnership with top infectious disease doctors to maximize safety and sanitization in all the salons, which means if you're ready for a haircut, most of us are now and have had one or two, they're ready to greet you, and they're prepared to do everything they can to make you feel good about coming in. Learn more about the Safe Salon Commitment and prepare yourself for your next visit by going to supercuts.com. One guy that does not need that service at all is the assistant athletic director of the University of Memphis. He's got the clean-shaven look, Steve Macy. How are you? If you had hair to pull out, though, you'd be pulling it out with these last 2 weeks, I'm sure.
Yeah, Dave and Brett, I'm not sure that was the best segue to have the bald guy on after you're talking about haircuts. But yeah, it's, if there was any left, it'd be falling out and grayer than it is.
It really has been astonishing. There have been 2 football games that had to be canceled. They were canceled at the last second. Both of those teams were able to find replacements. Now, you guys have been looking for replacements. I know you, if there is news today of the positive kind, actually a couple things, but let's start with the replacement game because you're the one that's going to do all the marketing for it, and that is November the 21st in the UT Martin slot. I know you've been looking for a team. You found one in Stephen F. Austin. How do these things get put together? What has this last 2 weeks been like?
Well, it's that's a lot of questions at once, but it's, the first on that game, that was a date that the coaching staff and Laird Veach and Jeff Crane were really looking to try to replace something there, and that was an intentional slot to have an FCS opponent. As kind of let's get ourselves into the last part of the season, going into the final couple weeks, hopefully the championship game, 2 weeks after that game, just as not really a tune-up, but it's just another opportunity to play and get some guys some playing time, maybe get a few guys some rest. So that was an important slot for the program, and that, being able to replace that game with another FCS was important to us. But ultimately, everything's been hard. But it's also been it's just been a constant change, and being able to move on the fly. And I think what's a real testament has been the football program, and not just ours, but around the country. Some of our partners that do travel with us, whether it's our airline partners or our charter partners, and their ability to move and redirect and just say, okay, we're going to be flexible enough for you. I think that's been one of the truly remarkable things, is how the whole industry has pivoted to being a little bit more flexible than maybe we had been over the past 20 years, when so many times it was inflexible. And, as I've said a couple times, this is kind of like a tough situation with having a hurricane game, but this has kind of been like a hurricane season on steroids with all the different changes we've had to undergo.
And Steve, your bailiwick is marketing, and if I'm going somewhere that you're just not comfortable with, or it's not your area of expertise, I understand the deferral. But let our listeners know, the football players, the youngsters, the coaching staff, everybody's healthy and well. This is mostly asymptomatic cases, right?
It is, and I don't think we don't have anybody that's in serious trouble or has had the need for a serious, be considered a serious case. This has all been positive tests and then contact tracing to go with that. I think that's one of the most difficult things to deal with has been the contact tracing. And it's requirement. It's something we need to do. It's CDC and the state health department and our local health departments, along with the American Athletic Conference health guidelines. This is how we're going to do it, and this is the way we're going to be able to have sports and to keep our student athletes and staffs as safe as humanly possible. And so this is, one of those things that's difficult about it. If you've been in close contact, you can't test out of it. You've got to continue to test, but that your clock is still on, and it means that you can't do football activities. You got to stay in quarantine, and unfortunately for us, the numbers got to the point where we were unable to play the last week, and then again coming up this week.
And those numbers are critical, and I think the fitness level too. In talking with Ryan Silverfield last week, You're asking a lot of a team that hadn't practiced in 11 days that finally get to start practicing and couldn't have a full practice, nor did they do the 25 periods. They only did about 14 of the 25, so you're not even going through with the guys you have a full practice. That really was not fair to those that might go and do battle all the way to play a healthy team that's not a bad football team in Texas San Antonio. That just wasn't right for your own guys.
Well, at the same time, I think that there are going to be situations this year when there's going to be some players that are playing that maybe you wouldn't have had as high up in the depth chart because of the circumstances under which we're playing. So, I mean, this was not a strategic play to say, we're just not going to have enough of our top players ready to play. This was a true numbers situation where you weren't going to be able to practice in a way that, would be a safety issue. And at the same time, our opponent was needing an answer so that they could reschedule a game so they could continue to have a home game this weekend. So, there was part of it, we just need to make a call, and it was in their best interest. And it was actually kind of a remarkable Saturday in that we were announcing that we were not going to play the UTSA game. We were going to announce the game against Stephen F. Austin, UTSA, and Stephen F. Austin were playing each other in the Alamo Dome at the time, and we were trying to all coordinate exactly what time those releases would go out based on when their game was going to end and when their local media and before their coaches got to their post-game interviews so that it could all be timed up. So when they were asked about it, they could talk about it in a way that was accurate. So it's just one of those things. We're constantly in a state of flux. And, the good thing is we've got a pretty good staff around here, and people are working hard to make sure that everybody's safe, but also that we're communicating, and we've got a bunch more communication coming up soon when it comes to how we're going to handle men's basketball. And that's kind of the next big step for us, and the next big hurdle. And then hopefully that we'll get some good news in terms of where we are as a community, and that we can perhaps move into a model of 6 feet of seating distance between people at football at some point.
Steve, the next scheduled game is October 3rd at SMU, and then you mentioned the next home game, October 17th at the Liberty Bowl. When do you think we might hear of some relief of a few more, many more maybe being able to go to that Central Florida game in the rest of the year, and how it could impact attendance at men's basketball?
Well, I think those are all going to be, again, it's going to stay fluid. And for us, we need probably a good week to 10 days to be able to really be able to communicate with our fan base if we're able to go from a 12 to a 6 foot or some other distance that may be 8 feet. I'm not sure exactly when we'll get a determination on that, but it will be important because I think the more people we can get in the door, that's better for.
We'll take 10 feet
to have a home. What's that?
We'll take 10 feet. We'll take anything going down, won't we?
Right. It does. It's exponential in terms of each foot is exponential in terms of how far people have to sit away. So it really does matter because it goes in all four directions. So, the closer we can seat these clusters, the more people can get in. I think the better home field advantage we have. And then in terms of basketball, we're working in concert with the Grizzlies on that and the health department to make some determinations in terms of how we would start and how it would look. Because we'll both be faced with similar situations. And, the AAC is also looking at some best practices for both men's and women's basketball in terms of, like they do for football, there has to be a safety area around all of the student athletes and coaches and trying to keep them from interacting with anyone that's not stayed within their testing protocols. And so that'll be part of how we set up the arena. It's going to be based on what the AAC's health group decides. And so we've got a lot more hoops to jump through, no pun intended, in terms of how we're going to do basketball, both on the men's and women's side.
Crazy. I guess, and I'm not Dr. Haushalter, and I'm not Dr. Randolph, but when I look at numbers here, I see the positivity, 4.4% today on 5,300 tests. I mean, that's fantastic. Now we're at 6.5%. So the testing of positivity is good. It's where it needs to be for there to be movement in the direction of allowing more people. But I guess we got to see case levels go down under the triple digits Before we get that, let's just hope that is the next step here as we go. And then, obviously, the thing that really opens up the door would be if one of these 173 vaccinations that are being worked on is approved and we start to mass distribute. That's when we'll really see everything open up a whole lot more. You were talking about basketball. Do you think it is close to being announced as to when a schedule will officially come out? And I know Memphis has, I think, opportunities to go to Dakota or to Atlanta. I don't think they can do both. What is the status of these things?
So the first step in this process is for the American to determine what the conference schedule looks like. So with the reduction by 4 in the total number of games you can play in the 2021 season, that takes out 4 non-conference. If the league elects to go to a complete double round robin and we increase the number of conference games from 16 to 20, well, that takes another 4 non-conference events out. So that first part for us is to determine exactly what the conference is going to do, and there's a lot of good arguments for it. You know, if you've got everybody playing the same underneath the same protocols in terms of safety for the student athletes and the staffs, you know, you can feel a sense of confidence that everybody's abiding by them in the same way, and so that helps on the safety side. So there is a push that's a logical push to playing as many conference games as possible. But at the same time, I think in this league, you look at there's a few national brands with Wichita and Memphis and Cincinnati and Houston that, you know, really there's a lot of opportunities to play some high level non-conference games that we hate to miss out on those. So there's going to be a balance. So I think the first step is to get the conference schedule and the determination of how many games we're going to play, and then the rest of it will play out from there, determining which games to keep on the non-conference schedule, which ones make the most sense for our brand, and which one makes the most sense in terms of the team getting ready for conference.
A lot of meetings and a lot of on-the-fly decisions being made, Steve. It'll be one that every college administrator will never forget. At your retirement party, it'll be mentioned.
Or you'll just try to forget it and just say, "Hey, that was one to push."
just block it out. Yeah.
Yeah, just say, "Hey, I remember that. That was hard. That was I'm proud of how hard we had to work just to be able to participate and have games and show that we can handle moves on the fly." And there's been a lot of hard things and things that, you know, my job usually is try to see how many people we can get into the games and how good of a game experience we can make. Now it's, and how do you maximize it with 12 foot of distance and hopefully at some point with 6 foot of distance and, mitigating the losses. So it's been a completely different type of year where a lot of people are doing things they've never come close to doing in their careers. And, you know, we've talked a lot as a staff, you know, show everybody some grace, whether it's coworkers or coaches or student athletes or our fans and media, just show some grace because everybody's dealing with things for the first time. And everybody's, I think, is there's no lack of effort for sure. It's just sometimes it's a lack of getting the answers that we want or a good answer or the least bad answer. There's a lot of what we're dealing with these days.
Last thing for Steve Macy from the University of Memphis. You are famous for being the one that comes up with the giveaways, the hats or all the little knick-knacky things. So, what did we miss out on this year that I guess we can look forward to next year?
Well, the Wolo bobblehead. That's what we missed out on, Steve, with the voice of the Tigers bobblehead.
Yeah, we were just getting into some of the conversations about what we would do from a halftime entertainment and from a giveaway for this year when COVID hit. And right away we hit pause on any of those conversations, just recognizing that very likely we were going to be in a budget crunch and recognizing that way back in March that anything that we were going to do was going to need to be really, really vetted out to a point where we were absolutely sure that this was something we wanted to spend money on. And so I think at this point we're just hanging on and not really planning on that stuff, but there will be some absolute opportunities. And, you know, right now, you know, our heart goes out to Scott Foreman and everybody else in his family that was dealing with Tom 3. And that's where our heads are right now. We did talk about it a little bit today. You know, what is the proper way to honor Tom and for something as a giveaway in the future. Maybe it's next year, maybe it's first home game next football season, but that's kind of where our head is today. is that somehow it'll be, a reflection of Tom and that mascot and that program.
And we should point out, Dr. Rudd tweeted out today that there's going to be a Tom 4, it looks like, in the partnership with the Memphis Zoo, and that's where the tiger will be housed. And it doesn't look like he's going to be coming to games, but they'll do it by TV. So that's going to be a neat thing, too. And that was announced today. Hey, you're so kind, Steve, to give us some of your time today. I know you guys are literally going crazy with all these changes, but we appreciate it, and we'll talk to you sometime soon down the road.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Thanks, Brett. Missing you guys.
Me too.
Miss you, Steve.
That is Steve Macy from the U of M. Always interesting and insightful. He is brought to you in part by the Butcher Shop. And again, I want to remind everybody, you can go in or you can take out. They still have curbside, but I want to remind everybody how big that restaurant is. It's cavernous with huge party rooms. There's a big dance floor behind it that's a part of the whole big operation there. So they have, if you didn't know, party rooms large enough for tables of 6 feet, tables of 6 with 6 feet of spacing between tables. You can literally have large groups, 20 to 40, and still meet all the guidelines if you would like to have a little family get-together in a place where you're not doing the cooking. They will. Go see their website, see what I'm talking about. Realize now you can even do Hamburger Friday with takeout. You can do it by going and curbside, and they'll bring it out to you. It's just amazing how they keep going. But I want to say, if you go inside and check it out, there's not a bigger restaurant with more social distancing than there is at the Butcher Shop. Check it out at thebutchershop.com. We take the time out. We are back in a minute. And when we return, we will let you know who won the weekend in college football and in NFL football, and the biggest overreaction of the weekend.
Spend your lunch with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 Middays, delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Get ready to fall in love with driving again in your new Kia from Gossett Kia on the Pike. Get everything you want with the 2020 Forte, just $131 a month. Or hit the road in 2020 Soul, $148 a month. And transform your driving experience this fall in the all-new 2021 K5, now $189 a month. All 36-month leases in just $31.49 due at signing. And you'll get peace of mind you can trust with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. It's time to get your Kia on at Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month leases, $31.49 due at signing. 0 security deposit. Excludes acquisition fee. 10,000 miles per year. 20 cents excess mileage. $650 acquisition fee. Forte LE 2249.63. Sold L7120906. K5MG 003-199. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 598.75. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Not all customers will qualify.
Brian Elder's Roofing.
Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in as we get set to wind on down here, get into hour number 3. Anthony Sain's going to join us. We'll talk about that insane ending between the Boston Celtics and the LA Lakers yesterday. That was a lot of fun for sure, and Anthony Sain will be coming your way at 5 o'clock. In the meantime, we do this thing we call Who Won the Weekend? Brett?
I'll go first.
Are you starting us?
I will. I'll start with college football, and there's a lot to choose from, but I think it was Central Florida. Maybe in the Central Florida run-up to being a national power, I thought Saturday was the best they've ever looked, and it was at Georgia Tech. I know it was a limited crowd, but it was at an ACC place, and they looked spectacular on offense. I think it was Central Florida.
Well, Dylan Gabriel was right along that whole line of great UCF quarterbacks, and they've got that team speed that makes you go, whoa. So I can understand. But for me, it was head coach Manny Diaz. It was offensive coordinator Rhett Lashley. It was quarterback and former Houston Cougar De'Aaron King. Miami's offense killed Louisville. 662 yards. 47 points, 60 plays. That's all they had. They kept scoring, and they murdered Louisville in Papa John's. That's hard to believe. I thought Louisville was really hands down going to win that game, and they were really never in that game.
I was also going to have Miami as my winner, but since you picked Miami, I'll go with my second team. I got to give a big W to Navy over the weekend. Yes, they were down by 24 at halftime, able to overcome that outcome, winning the game 27-24. They lose that. They drop back-to-back games. I don't know how they get any type of momentum rolling into this for the rest of the season. So I give a win to Ken Niumatalolo in the midshipmen.
Does anybody question Willie Fritz? I know Ken Niumatalolo changed quarterbacks, but did Willie Fritz become a little bit more conservative? I mean, was that the same team? I got to wonder about Willie Fritz on that one.
At one point, Navy was down 79-3 on the year.
Yeah,
I mean, you're now that cut of youngster doesn't have a lot of quit in them. A lot of places would have tossed the towel, and it could have really spiraled out of control. NFL, who won the weekend for me, I think it was Kansas City. I think we're right back where we were last year. For them to come from behind in Los Angeles at SoFi in the Chargers' first game there, and you knew they were going to. When he got the ball back late, you knew they were going to push it at least to overtime. And once they got to overtime, you knew the Chargers were done. I think it's right where the NFL ended last year, the Chiefs winning the weekend.
When the Chargers punted the ball, didn't you know that Mahomes was going to win the game? There was no question. How many game-winning fourth quarter overtime drives now has he engineered in 3 short years? They had it was like 11. It's incredible how good he is. But I'm going to take a little different tack, and I'm going to say the guy who won the weekend was on the other side in that stadium, and that was rookie Justin Herbert of the Chargers, who was told just minutes before the game.
They won a job.
Told minutes before the game that the starting quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, couldn't go, and he had to go to the hospital for some sort of abdominal respiratory issue. Not COVID, I don't think, but it was something weird and serious enough. They took him to the hospital. This guy comes in. I thought he was incredible. I mean, he was the number 6 overall pick, so they're grooming him to be the guy. But when you're told literally seconds before the game begins and you go for 311 yards and 2 touchdowns and you actually were in the game the whole way, you lose in overtime, against the defending champions of the National Football League, I think that is pretty darn good. He did make one major error. If he had run for a first down, he would have had, instead of throwing against his body long and getting picked, he would have won that game. He did make a critical mistake, but I still think he won the weekend.
My winner from the NFL weekend, the Green Bay Packers. Off season of turmoil. Does Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur really get along? Does Aaron have any weapons that he actually can throw to? And they put up 40-plus in 2+ weeks. So Green Bay is my winner.
My college football overreaction, wild overreaction, it is the U is back. We've only heard that about 1 million times since they went away, but I'm going to join in with the overreaction, say the U is back. And in the NFL, the overreaction, no, Dave, the Bears aren't going undefeated like the 72 Dolphins. And no, they're not going to just lose one like the 85 Bears. They only lose 2 this year. Bears going 14 and 2.
My overreaction is the NCAA AP and coaches pollsters who dropped the U of M. Coaches dropped them 5 spots, and they didn't even play. Come on, what kind of respect is that? And now I'm changing my NFL overreaction. My overreaction is Brett Norsworthy. My Bears, I love them. They shouldn't be 2-0. They could be 0-2. And you think they're only going to lose 2 games this year?
That's why it's called
not
an
undefeated,
overreaction.
That is just crazy.
Overreaction would have been undefeated.
That's even better.
My overreactions from the weekend in college football. Dylan Gabriel is now the greatest college football quarterback born in the state of Hawaii with the 4 touchdown passes.
Tell that to Tua.
You know what this is.
Or the Heisman Trophy winner, Marcus Mariota.
His UCF hate. He just hates him. He can't give the kid credit.
I'm giving him credit.
The kid has come in as a...
He just said he was the best quarterback in the history of Hawaii. That includes Tua. That's not hate.
That's a mock overreaction.
You think I'm just full of sarcasm, apparently. Well, this one is full of sarcasm from the NFL. Chiefs really aren't that good. They had to go to overtime against a rookie quarterback and an underwhelming Chargers team. Ravens by 50 next week.
Oh.
Next Monday night.
How about a little lunch wager on that? You give me 50?
It's called an overreaction for a reason, Dave. I make them comical for a reason.
Oh. I see. I see. Okay. That's 2 hours in the books. When we come back, NBA front and center. Our friend Anthony Sain from the Morning Show and Sports Illustrated will join us. This portion of our program is brought to you by James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. I got to check with my friend Rob Joyner and see exactly how much stuff is left. This clearance sale, 70 to 80% off all spring and summer merchandise, has been going on a while, and they've had some great brands. I'm talking Peter Millar and Stenstrom and Mac 5 Pocket and Brax. And I'm talking 70 to 80% off. I'm sure there's still some stuff left. We'll check with Shine before it is all over. It, by the way, I should remind you, is the only place to get the Stant custom shirt and pants system. That's where you go in, 3 quick measurements, and then a week later, you've got the best fitting shirt or pair of pants now that you've ever had. Shirts start at $98, pants at $168, and the only place to get them would be James Davis. That's the only place that has Stant and Toomey and a lot of other just incredible merchandise. And the best folks that'll bring it to you. Go see what I'm talking about. Get to Laurelwood. Get to the James Davis Men's Store and enjoy 70 to 80% off. Anthony Sain comes your way next.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Picking up an online order? No problem. It'll just be a moment. You know, we've got more convenient ways to shop besides our same-day store pickup. You can also shop from your car with our free curbside pickup. Or you can even shop completely from home with our free next-day delivery. Just order by 10 p.m. on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Free next-day delivery on eligible orders. Restrictions at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Five-Ash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Get ready to fall in love with driving again in your new Kia from Gossett Kia on the Pike. Get everything you want with the 2020 Forte, just $131 a month. Or hit the road in 2020 Soul, $148 a month. And transform your driving experience this fall in the all-new 2021 K5, now $189 a month. All 36-month leases in just $31.49 due at signing. And you'll get peace of mind you can trust with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. It's time to get your Kia on at Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month leases, $31.49 due at signing. 0 security deposit. Excludes acquisition fee. 10,000 miles per year. 20 cents excess mileage. $650 acquisition fee. Forte LE 2249.63. Sold L7120906 K5MG 003-199. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 598.75. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Not all customers will qualify.
Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on, ah yes, that's the one, you have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent who knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Final hour on this busy Monday. We're with you through the tape, through the finish line at 6 o'clock. This hour brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales, where they specialize in late model cars with low mileage, very high standards in the car industry, down on Goodman Road at 5704 Goodman Road. That's where you'll find the great people at DeSoto Auto Sales. Visit their website, DeSotoAutoSales.com, and check out all the referrals and look at all the beautiful cars, all those cars. Test driven, checked out from bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll go out and find it for you. No shortcuts taken at DeSoto Auto Sales, where you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales whatsoever, but they do care about your time and want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. They know we're living in a world today that time matters. That's why when you walk in within 45 minutes, test drive your car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're gone in time to do it over your lunch hour or like right now, immediately after work at 5704 Goodman Road, DeSotoAutoSales.com, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
Time to talk a little NBA with our friend Anthony Sane from the morning show here on Sports 56 and from Sports Illustrated. And Anthony, let's start with the Western Conference, where the Boston Celtics had blown a couple of big leads and they looked like they were coming apart Smart was actually had to be restrained by teammates in the locker room after the loss in Game 2, and somehow they got their act together, built a big lead, kept the big lead, and I'm talking about the East, and were able to win. We'll get to the West and the dramatics of that in just a little bit. How were the Boston Celtics able to get their composure back?
Sometimes it just takes those kind of crazy encounters like those guys had after Game 2. Boston has had big leads in every one of these games. They've looked like the better team at times against the Heat, but they've blown those leads in the second half. And I think that's just a part of them just still being a team that's young still at their core, pretty much. Of course, Kemba Walker's a vet, but their two main stars, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, are still very young guys. You remember this team? They gave Cleveland all they can handle a few years back when they were even younger. But sometimes you can be so young that you don't realize you're young. But now their youth and experience is kind of hurting them. But they really cranked it up in this last game. They really tightened up and did what they had to do to pull out the win. Jaylen Brown had a good game that was consistent from beginning to end. I think he's the key to the series. He's just got to do more for Boston. They also got Gordon Hayward back. He didn't do much as far as production, but just being out there and being able to contribute to the team, that of course helped Boston. But you're looking at a heck of a series now. When they back up later on this week, I think they come Wednesday. It's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I think we got a series now, and it was going to be total control for Miami if they could have gone up 3-0. But, Anthony, sometimes in sports it's good to let a little steam off, and it sounds like the Celtics did in the locker room exchange they had. That was players only, but with maybe some loud language used, and it worked for them. I think they got a lot of things sorted out.
Yeah, they did. These are all grown men, and sometimes you have to this bubble creates a unique environment. We talked about this a lot, the environment that the bubble creates. These guys really can't get away from each other. They can't get in their cars and drive across town. They can't, if they got a couple of days off, they can't go to Vegas for the weekend. They kind of have to be on top of each other the whole time. It's not really much of an escape. If you have some stress, you have some frustration towards each other, you it's kind of compacted because of the way the bubble is set up. Those guys, everything kind of came to a head. They had their falling out, but it looks like to their benefit, they're getting things back together.
I think we got to give Brad Stevens some credit for that too, because if I read this correctly, and I'm not sure you have many meetings like this, but he brought in Marcus Smart, and I think he brought in Tatum and Brown and maybe one other player at 1:00 in the morning in his hotel room. They all met to sort of smooth this thing over, which obviously worked, but give the coach the credit.
Yeah, exactly. Brad Stevens is one of the better coaches in NBA. This whole matchup between him and Boston and Miami features two great coaches. Brad Stevens is definitely one of the better ones in the league. I'm losing his name again.
Spolstra.
Yeah,
Eric Spolstra.
Spolstra, of course, is one of the greater ones. Just two great coaches. Spolstra is probably one of the most underrated coaches you can think about. A lot of times people don't understand that, when you gotta get criticized guys who win with stars as if they're not coaching jobs. But those still have to. You can look at the Clippers, for example. It took some actual technical coaching sometimes to manage those personalities and to manage that talent. And Spolstra, he's always been one of those guys who can get the best out of his talent, regardless of who's on his roster. And now that he has, a star player in Jimmy and knockdown shooters, and a guy like Bam Adebayo who can do so much on the court, that Miami team is looking very good.
And on the other series, the Lakers last night, he's got a long way to go to catch him in shots, but he's going to have plenty of time to do it. Not yet big shot Bob, but that was big shot AD.
Yeah. Anthony Davis, we joked about this morning. Anthony Davis was looking like a guy that we see here in Memphis a lot. Jaren Jackson Jr., the way he was showing that three-point range yesterday. Anthony Davis, a guy, of course, that Jaren gets a lot of comparisons to. I'm just hoping we can get that out of Jaren. That would be pretty remarkable if Jaren can turn into that. But Anthony Davis has just been remarkable this whole playoff. All of his numbers are increasing in this playoff series. He's just showing that he's still one of the better players in the NBA. One of those guys that kind of got forgotten about almost as far as talking about the elite players. While he was down in New Orleans, the team didn't really do much and couldn't get anywhere. But now that you see him on this biggest stage with a player like LeBron James playing in the Western Conference Championship, you can really see the depths of how good Anthony Davis really is.
I think he, when he spoke after the game, it was really insightful too. Well, first off, the way that play unfolded yesterday, there's no doubt the Nuggets thought this thing was coming to LeBron, and they did not want him to be the weapon. And Mason Plumlee did not play the screen correctly. That allowed Davis to get open. But when Davis was asked about taking that last shot, he basically said, I want to start taking those shots. Well, that's a hard thing for a guy on LeBron's team to say, is I want to be the guy that takes the critical shots at the end of the game. But I kind of thought he said that. That's the first time we've heard him say that. And I don't know if that means he's starting to want to be the alpha dog on this team and if that creates any issues. But it was enlightening to me that most people think he's pretty docile, but he came out strong yesterday, and I think he's become the best player on that team.
Well, I'm not going to say anybody playing with LeBron James is the best player on the team as long as LeBron James is alive and well. LeBron's 35 years old. He's definitely on the decline. We haven't really seen the decline, but we know that what LeBron still can do. Anthony Davis is, like I said, a tremendous player. Something else that's kind of interesting about the whole Anthony Davis situation, of the other guys that LeBron has won a championship with as far as being their number 2 player, both Dwayne Wade and Kyrie Irving were guys where LeBron pretty much came to their team. So there always was a little disruption about it. But Anthony Davis is coming to a team that LeBron James has already established himself as being the leader of. And he's pretty much fell in line with LeBron. And they're now in the same timeline, of course. Anthony Davis is considerably younger than LeBron James. But Anthony Davis is one of those guys. You got to remember he's going to be a free agent, I think, next summer. So it was, or maybe, I think, next summer, I believe. He has the option to be a free agent. So, of course, he wants to just still remind people that he's still one of the best in the league and one of the best big men that we've seen in the NBA ever.
Does that doom?
Yeah, he is that.
Does that doom Denver now? It's not out of sight, and they've come back twice now from 3-1. But
right.
That's the kind of loss where you think you've won the game, and Jokic was
and you got a series,
just incredible, and this breaks your heart. I don't know if you overcome it.
Yeah, I was watching this before this series started. I said if the Lakers don't get up 2-0, Denver's going to mess around and win this whole thing. And I think yesterday was a crucial game. They got up 2-0, of course, but of course it's one of those games where it came down to last second shot or whatever. But now we're looking at a very crucial game 3. If the Lakers win that game, you pretty much think that it's over. You're talking about coming down from 3 games to none and winning 4 straight. But they're an odd team, and they find a way to hang around. LeBron had a monster first half yesterday. He fell off in the second half, and then you saw Denver coming back once he kind of deferred to Anthony Davis in the second half. But that Denver team, man, it's hard to count them out. I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm not going to count them out until I see them down 3-0. We've seen them down 3-1, but 3-0 of course is another monster. But I just think that next game is going to tell the rest of it. Denver's just a hard team to count out. And if you look, man, that Denver team, their future is extremely bright. You're talking about a team who just got Michael Porter Jr. available this year. And Bo Bowles just got available at the end of the season this year, plus the young talent they already have, plus they're missing Will Barton. And they just got Gary Harris back. I mean, that team is going to be a young, deep team in the West for years to come. And I think they're definitely up next in the West.
Oh, they are.
What do they need more than anything else? Another big piece or a little seasoning or a little bit of both?
I think it's just time. I think they just need time. I think they got a heck of a team. They could be a team like the Warriors where adding an Andre Iguodala type player could definitely put them over the hump as far as another guy, to be on that wing perimeter player. But you've got Michael Porter Jr. there who's been fantastic, and he's still young and up and coming. If I were Denver, I would do anything, man. I think they got all the tools you need for a championship. Just think that team just needs a little time. And like I said, they're here, man. They're a team they've been the second best team in the West in the regular season for the last 2 years, outside of some occurrences where, the Clippers had that, the Clippers finished in second, but Denver's been there, forever. They were in second place forever for the season before the injuries happened. So I just think that counting out Denver going forward would be pretty foolish. They're definitely going to be one of the better teams in the West.
I've been high on them for a while. I know Barton's got a bad knee, and that's why he is out of this thing. What happened with Bol?
Well, I just think it's a matter with him where I think health-wise he's fine. I mean, he's got those foot problems. I think health-wise he's okay, but it's just now just isn't the time to, because he just played his first games of the season in the bubble during the seeding game, and I don't think you kind of want to see where I think this isn't the best time to kind of, because he's still very raw, still new to the game, and he's just a luxury to have in your back pocket, and he's the guy that you can come out with next year and get him going. And just put some dangerous, scary lineups on the court, man, with Bol on the court, with Michael Porter Jr. and Jokic. That could be a very dangerous front court.
Will Denver get one?
I think they will. I don't think they'll get swept. I think yesterday's game was playing that well. I think, and Coach Mike Malone, he's one of the great, game planners in the league. So I think you'll see him make some adjustments to at least get one out of the Lakers. Yeah, I don't think they'll get swept though.
Yeah, I don't either. And if they were to win the next one, it could become a decent series because, let's face it could be easily 1-1 right now, if not for those dramatics.
It shook them, though. And that kind of loss will shake you. Because, it was right there. And to hit a shot that he was almost out of bounds.
But if you're Malone, wouldn't you basically say, hey, look, guys, we should have won that game. We have just proven to the Lakers and to ourselves that we can beat them. I mean, I would try to twist that into that. And I think those players would buy that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys on that one, too.
Anthony, we appreciate it as always. We will listen to you tomorrow morning with Peter on Sports 56 Mornings. And thank you so much. We'll do it again next week.
All right, guys. See you then.
That is Anthony Sane from Peter and Anthony in the mornings, and, of course, from Sports Illustrated. So, are you ready to make some picks?
Yes, I am.
All right. We are going to go from east to west, right? You want to go with A&M first and then to the University of Tennessee?
Yeah, we'll start with A&M, and they've got I think, the easiest game of this Saturday slate. There's some big spreads this Saturday. It's 28 points, and they start easily by covering that down at College Station. And they will have the biggest crowd, too, because of their regulations and their state enforcement. There will be about 40,000 at Kyle Field. They start with a win over Vanderbilt. Then they go to Tuscaloosa, and they don't have Johnny Manziel. And that's where they won with him in 2012. That's already starting to be a long time ago. They lose to Alabama. They lose at Florida. They're 1-2. They win at Mississippi State, 2 up, 2 down. And then instead of at Jerry's World, it will be on campus, a change from the old Southwest Conference Classic with Arkansas. They get them back on campus for the first time since 2012 with Johnny, and A&M handles their old Southwest Conference mate in Arkansas. So 3-2. They win at South Carolina, 4-2. And then the first real tough game for me to pick with them, that's at Tennessee. Crossroads game for both of them. We're picking the other one just in a few minutes. I'm picking Tennessee to beat A&M at Neyland Stadium. Then A&M host Ole Miss. They will win that one. They host and will lose to LSU, and they close out the season on the Plains at Auburn. They win there.
Wow.
6-4 for Texas A&M.
Man, you are bully on them.
Not as much as a lot of people.
I am not as much as you. I do think they'll beat Vandy. I think they lose at Alabama. And so we differ in a lot of things here. I think because of that crowd, I think they will beat Florida. They will win at Mississippi State, so that makes them 3-1. No, wait a second. As you mentioned, they get them at home on campus against Arkansas. That makes them 4-1. And then at South Carolina, that's an L. At Tennessee, that is an L. Ole Miss, they beat. They lose to LSU. They lose at Auburn on the Plains. I've got them 5-5.
I'm pretty
so
much.
We're just one different.
Yeah, one different, but a different road.
I'm pretty much doubling down from me and other people like David Cobb of being very high on A&M and Kellen Mond basically being the this year's Joe Burrow. So I have the best record out of all three of us.
Wow.
I've got them winning against Vandy, losing at Bama, getting that W at home against Florida, winning at State, beating Arkansas at home, winning at South Carolina. They do lose in Knoxville against Tennessee. I have them beating Ole Miss, beating LSU at home, losing to Auburn on the Plains 7-3.
Wow.
Interesting.
I've fallen for Jimbo Fisher and Daryl Dickey, who I love. I have fallen for them the last couple of years and have fallen flat on my face. So I'm going to be much more conservative. I would be pleased as punch if they ended up with that 7-3 record and beating LSU. Wow, that is going out on the limb.
Y'all both have a win at home over Florida.
Yep.
Bowl comment of Monday for me, Dan Mullen's a better coach than Jimbo Fisher.
I'm not sure that I disagree with that, but one guy's won a national title.
A lot of people could win one at FSU.
Well, I hope Mike Dorvell does.
What a tough year. Long, strange trip year for Mike Dorvell. All right, Tennessee.
There's only been 2-1 at Florida State. Is that true? Bobby Bowden won 1, right?
Bobby Bowden won 2.
He won 2? Okay, so there's been 3 titles there. Okay, Tennessee. Why don't you go first, Drew?
All right, I think I basically said what my record was last week, but I'll go back over it again. I have them losing opening week at South Carolina. Just kind of that wacky, crazy opening week. We don't really know what's going to happen type of scenario. So I think they lose to the Gamecocks week 1. They beat Missouri at home, lose at Georgia, lose to Kentucky at home, lose to Bama. Start to pick it up in the second half of the season. Win at Arkansas. They do beat A&M, lose to Auburn on the Plains. They win at Vandy, but lose at home to finish the season against Florida 4-6.
Wow.
Close it out against the Gators.
I agree with you about South Carolina. And Jeremy Pruitt, some of his teams have not started off so well in the first week or two, so that makes sense to me. I've got them beating Missouri, losing at Georgia, but I haven't beaten Kentucky, losing to Bama, winning at Arkansas, winning against A&M, losing at Auburn, beating Vandy, losing to Florida. I've got them at even 5-5. What have you got?
I've got Tennessee winning opening day against South Carolina, unlike y'all. So it can be some blood gained opening weekend on our picks here. Then winning at Missouri, losing to Georgia at Georgia, defeating Kentucky, losing at Alabama for the 14th year in a row. Is that right?
Man.
Yes, I think so.
Is that right? That series has been streaky, but I don't think there's been a longer streak than 13 in a row, has there?
That's a long one. Winning at Arkansas, defeating A&M at home in the tough game, the crossroad game I mentioned earlier, winning on the Plains at Auburn. That used to be a great September rivalry before we went east-west, and we never see each other hardly anymore. At least this year they will see each other. Winning at Vandy and losing the last game of the year, 7-3 for Tennessee.
7-3. So you are the most optimistic of the group here for the Volunteers. I have a quick question for you, for both you guys. If this turns out to really be good, with playing as many as 10 conference games, and I know they're not going to go to 10, but do you think we will see the SEC do like the Big Ten does? 9 game conferences?
I don't think anytime soon, and already been announced that next year's schedule should be out soon, and it will be back to 8 games.
Back to 8.
I don't think they should, just for the realistic fact of why beat up on each other for one more game when we can schedule
because you're in a league.
An extra opponent and create a better record and get possibly 2 teams every year into the CFP. That's why they won't do it.
I'll tell you why, because you are 2 divisions with 14 teams, and if you play 9, you would at least see another divisional foe more often.
I'm not saying I wouldn't like them to do it, but they're not going to.
I think Drew's right, and I think Dave's right in his explanation, and I think I'm right in this. I think the public is tired of seeing some of these games that aren't league games and would love the ticket-buying public, and they still should matter, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Would want a ninth game.
A ninth game takes away a 1 AA game, a bye game.
Oh, I heard, and I love John Smoltz, but I heard John Smoltz on MLB Network today, and he is a strong advocate of the Scott Boras plan of even when we get back to good times and we can go and everything's back to normality, he wants a neutral site World Series, all 7 games played over 7 straight days. Do the fans that buy those tickets all year not matter at all to people?
I'm vehemently against that.
He does know Major League Baseball is not the PCL, right?
I don't understand why you would rob your fans of that incredible reward. You've watched 162 games, and then you've watched the drama of the playoffs. You, if you're a fan, deserve to have your team in your ballpark. That's the craziest
and
thing
who could afford to go off to the neutral site and stay 7 or 8 days?
Nobody could. It would only be basically the executives of baseball would have all this. It's still 40,000 seat stadiums, right? We're not doing a 100,000 foot seat stadium. I mean,
we're back to bandboxes in baseball stadium.
That makes absolutely no sense to me.
From a really smart, great analyst. I love John Smoltz.
I do too.
Man.
That's the silliest thing I've ever heard him say, and I agree with you. I usually agree with him. I want to welcome back into the fold an old friend. We've got Mark Spensdorf and Sheldon Rosengarten back as part of our Sports 56 team. And with all sorts of sporting events have been turned inside out, not Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark Spensdorf. He's still out there carrying the ball over the goal line. According to Sheldon, with the interest rates as low as they are, the real estate market is hotter than John Morant. And so is Sheldon's hottest new listing at 4245 Amber Lane near Park and Cherry. All on one level with custom features inside and out. It is priced in this hot area at $374,900, and it is in move-in condition. And because people often say when you want the job done, call Sheldon, it may be gone by the time you hear this. If you're interested in the fabulous property or if you want your home advertised right here, call or email Sheldon at memphisrelocate.com or the simple number 483-0546. That's Sheldon Rosengarten at memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546. We are back in just 1 minute. When we come back, we'll talk a little Monday Night Football, and we'll give you the Raiders, and we'll give you the Saints all-time 4 greatest QBs. That is next.
Want to get your voice heard? Hit us up on the First Bank phone line or First Bank text line.
Jim Gray from Westwood One here with a Monday Night Football preview. Coming up, the NFL debut under the primetime lights with the Raiders hosting the New Orleans Saints in their new Las Vegas home stadium. Derek Carr and the Raiders won their opener last week at Carolina, while Drew Brees and the Saints got their season started with a home win over Tampa Bay. Both Coach Sean Payton and Brees said after the win that there's a lot of room for improvement.
Well, if you ask me how I felt like I played, I'd probably say I played awful as well. So we get to be our harshest critics, coming off this game. I know that we are used to playing at a much higher level offensively.
Kevin Harlan and Hall of Famer Kurt Warner will have the call of the Saints at the Las Vegas Raiders. Monday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
It's time for an upgrade. Beneath your feet, with beautiful, durable new carpet from the Home Depot. And right now, free installation. Choose from a wide selection of styles. Order samples. Schedule a measure and installation, all online. It's never been easier to have carpet you love, right where you live. New carpet and free installation, only from the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Free installation on carpet $4.99 or more and 99 cents or more per square foot. U.S. only.
O'Reilly. Get more miles on the road with O'Reilly Auto Parts. A clean fuel system means better gas mileage for your car. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner for $8. Plus, earn double O Rewards points. For a clean, lubricated, more fuel-efficient system, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
oh, oh, O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Hi, this is Rob Brown. Join Pete Cordelli and me for Sidelines, Saturday mornings, 8 to 10 a.m. on Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1 FM. We'll cover the Memphis Tigers, the SEC, recruiting. Hey, if they keep score, we're covering it. Check us out on the website at sports56whbq.com and sidelines.live. Sidelines is brought to you by Duncan Williams Asset Management. Saturday mornings, 8 to 10 a.m. Get up and give us a call.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
We are about to make our picks for Monday Night Football. Also, we will bring you the 4 greatest quarterbacks in the history of the two franchises. And let me tell you, you're talking about New Orleans and all the different stops the Raiders have been at. They got some really, really great quarterbacks. Can't wait to get into all of that, Brett.
I'm looking forward to it, too. And it's our 4, what we think's the best. Don't just be quite so statistically driven, because I think that would leave out a great one with the Raiders, but it's your list. You do it as you like. Look, the fall is going to be the best. We've had a challenging 2020, so let's have a great fall. And I love all the new All-Star Chevys down at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. You will not find any more new Silverados anywhere else than at All-Star Chevrolet, and for a lot less. If it's a new Chevy you want, Olive Branch is where you need to be. Come drive one of these new Blazers or the new Tahoes. I'm driving one now, and that Tahoe is something else. Talk about a road trip. Driving a new Traverse or Camaro. I love the Traverse. I was in a one last fall quite a bit. Here's the new Chevy car to drive. One of the Impalas. That's got they've won all the awards. All-Star wins on the low prices. We're talking 20-something. You can even get thousands in cash back. Check out the certified pre-owned Chevy deals. The lot is full. Tahoes, Malibus, Impalas, Suburbans. And don't forget, it's not Mount Moriah. It's not South Haven. It's not the Pike. It's not Collierville. It's got to be at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Everyone at All-Star with one job. Make sure you get the best deal. Have more fun doing it in record time. And everyone at All-Star, they always thank our first responders and all that they do for us every single day. Find new roads to Kraft Goodman Road in Olive Branch, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
All right, let's try to make our pick for tonight, and that is New Orleans in Vegas, Monday Night Football. It's a game, by the way, that you can hear right here on Sports 56. We look forward to the Westwood one. I think it's Kevin Harlan who is on the call, and you talk about a busy guy now with all these melding of sports, because he's doing he's been doing a lot of the TNT basketball.
Wonder what his protocol is for exiting and re-entering the bubble if he is indeed doing the Westwood. I know he's doing CBS football, so he's leaving the bubble.
He's leaving the bubble, and here is what I think happens in his case. He's in the same sort of bubble. Remember, we had Drew Hill on, and he was telling us there are 2 different sort of categories of bubble. And those, the secondary bubbles, you see how far the network broadcasters are up in the stadium. They don't get near the players. So they are separated. So he is able to go back and forth. I think he has to get tested in order to do his job, but he doesn't have to stay in
So no
that
interaction,
specific
no
bubble.
no visiting
No.
like with players
No.
pregame and stuff.
Correct.
And kind of take pardon the pun, taking their temperature.
I think he zooms with them. I think he does have access that way. I think he zooms with them. I
Over
will
the
tell
weekend, Dave, you were 3-2 on the NFL, but I'm sorry, you were 2-3 on the
Yep.
NFL. I was 3-2, but you had another spectacular college weekend. Drew, you were 2-3 as well. Dave, you won both your lock and shock yesterday in the NFL. I won lock and shock yesterday. Drew, you just won shock with taking the Jags plus the 7.5, and you got there in Nashville. Tonight, the Saints, 4.5-point favorites over the Las Vegas Raiders. That's going to take some getting used to, but I'm used to Drew Brees. Number 9, he takes care of it. 38-21, Saints cover easily.
I agree. I'm not even sure of the final score, but New Orleans at this new beautiful ballpark. I'm looking forward to seeing what that ballpark is. I don't think it's quite the same thing as the new one in L.A., but it's still new. It's still late and great, and I look forward to seeing that, and I look forward to seeing Drew Brees. I love watching him play. I truly do. And we'll get a lot of shots at John Gruden, who used to be established as a Monday Night Football guy in a different way. It should be a lot of fun, but New Orleans is too good. I think the 4.5 is an easy cover, and I needed to get to 500 this week in the league. I was 4-1 in college, so this would help the whole weekend turn out really nice. Drew?
I guess we're gonna have another show lock. I kind of want to pick the Raiders, just kind of the new stadium, new atmosphere, that type of situation going on. But New Orleans is just too darn good. Give me the Saints minus 4.5.
3-7 on group lock so far this year.
That is terrible. 3-7.
0-2 yesterday. No, I've already written it down.
I think were we a group lock?
You don't have whiteout?
We are a group lock on Louisville, right? That was one we lost this weekend. I know that.
We were group lock on U of L. We were group lock on Notre Dame, and they just smashed South Florida.
God. Well, we won that.
Yeah, we got there with that.
Yeah, we finally won one. Okay. All right. Which team you want to start with for the
wherever you want to,
4?
baby. You go first.
Let's
Fire
start.
away.
Let's start with New Orleans, where I really kind of thought you were going to have Archie number 1, but you know Drew Brees has broken all the records, and Drew Brees he's terrific. He's my number 1.
He's the king of town.
Yeah.
He's the king of town. There was a time that Archie still has, pardon the pun, sainted status in New Orleans. But also there was a time for Morton Anderson. Morton Anderson around town could move and shake and own the place, but it is Drew Brees' town now.
Yeah, I don't think there's.
You bring a Super Bowl, that'll do it.
Oh yeah, I mean there's no doubt about that, and he's I would have to say he's lasted longer in New Orleans than even Archie did, isn't he? Has he?
His longevity is surpassed Archie. Now their announced team. You talking about an interesting announced team? Zach Strief, former player and beloved player for the Saints. He's play-by-play guy. Analyst Deuce McAllister. They are beloved as former players and now really taking a hold on WWL as the voices of the Saints. You know, Hokie Gajan was loved forever when he was the analyst. Archie was analyst for a long time. Right. But Zach Strief, former player, Northwestern Medill School of Journalism, will set you up post-football to be play-by-play and not just the analyst. Huh. And Deuce is doing a great job.
So Drew 1, Archie 2. I got to go with Bobby Hebert, number 3. Remember, he was totally beloved there because he's a Cajun himself.
Yes.
Related to it, a little like Ed Orgeron at LSU. This was the perfect Cajun fit for the Saints. Bobby Hebert 3. And number 4, I'm going to go with Aaron Brooks because he was the guy that helped turn the franchise around. They won their first playoff game in 2000 with Aaron Brooks at the helm.
I was really torn on who should be 4. Should it be Jim Everett or should it be Aaron Brooks? And you go to, I think, the most important column, the winning column, it's easily Aaron Brooks. So I have the exact same list as you, Drew Brees. Number 9 in uniform, number 1, number 8 in uniform, number 2, and from the USFL, but a Cajun through and through, and they do love him, Bobby Hebert, and he's on a lot of the post-game shows, and it gets downright He can get downright raunchy sometimes.
I bet.
On some of their post-game shows, because I think Bobby has enjoyed himself during the game and for Aaron Brooks.
Okay.
I've got the same 4. I just have Aaron Brooks as number 3, and just basically the only reason why is because he did win the first playoff game in franchise history. That's got to count for something.
Yep.
And that was big once upon a time for the Saints, because in the lovable sports losers, the Saints were up there. I mean, they were the bad news bears for a long time.
They were. I don't know. Yeah, I guess they were as bad as Pittsburgh was. Remember how bad they were called? The Aints. They were so bad. That's right.
Yeah.
So
and you know, kind of basketball, the Cavaliers, the Cadivers,
Right.
once upon a time.
That's right.
The Saints were really up there. Is just really one of the snake-bitten sports franchises ever.
I think
and it's really turned around.
They were the first ones that had paper bags that they put over their heads, if I recall correctly. That was
All
invented.
right, Raiders going to be tough. Dave, you go first.
All right. You're going to get mad at me for this, but I'm going to do it anyway. First of all, this is the Oakland, Los Angeles, Oakland, Vegas Raiders.
I'm with you.
All right. Number 1, got to be the Snake. Love Kenny Stabler. He's my number 1. My number 2, and some people have him down as low as 4. I don't. He was the symbol of the Raiders in the beginning. That's the Mad Bomber, Daryl LaMonica. I got him too.
Love it.
3, Jim Plunkett. I loved watching that arm. I loved watching his toughness. Jim Plunkett 3, and 4, so close that I had to go tie. I went tie.
No. You can't go ties. It's a top 4 list, not 4 and 4A.
I can. Yeah. What is the name of this show?
You're right. You're big name on the marquee. You're right.
And played the show card, too.
I had to.
Wow.
You guys were
basically played You Know Who I Am on
You were
it.
going to give me grief here if I didn't. Rich Gannon 4 and 4A.
George Blanda.
You got it. How can you not have George Blanda in there? George Blanda deserves to be on there.
I sent you that great picture of Blanda as a bear at Wrigley Field.
I know. God, just seeing the Bears in Wrigley Field just makes my heart so warm. It really does. It brings back such great memories of being with my uncle.
And Blanda had
or my friend in standing room only.
Yeah, and Blanda had a great Monday Night Football relief appearance. Had been the kicker, had to go in as kind of the savior at quarterback, and that was a while on Monday night. And the Raiders historically on Monday night, they've been great. I'm with you with Kenny Stabler as the first one. He got them their first Super Bowl. He's got a lot of records. I have Jim Plunkett, too, for this reason over my 3 and 4. He did deliver 2 Super Bowls, and I think it's a shame a guy with 2 Super Bowl wins that he's not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He had decent years with New England, decent years with San Francisco, and really good career closing years for Jim Plunkett.
Yeah.
Very long career. And you mentioned his toughness. Dave, he was one of the original cerebral thinking man quarterback, too.
Yeah, no doubt. When I think of tough guys, who was the Philadelphia quarterback, a little heavy set that always hung in there and got killed? And I'm not thinking
Norm Snead.
Him, Roman Gabriel, and Jim Plunkett, man, they were nuts.
Norm Snead would just, he and Joe Cap, just a face laid open every Sunday, wasn't it?
Yes. Joe Cap.
Billy Kilmer. And I go back to Norm Snead and Jurgensen and Billy Kilmer, and I said it a few weeks ago about somebody. Who was it that we were talking about? Any quarterback with a beer gut, I love.
Me too. And people talk about the way that Mahomes or Mayfield or Murray or all these guys, how they throw from different angles. Joe Cap was doing that 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Joe Cap, he'd go opposite hand if he had to.
Oh, yeah.
So number three, I have Rich Gannon, and number 4, the Mad Bomber, Daryl LaMonica. I have no 4A.
Okay.
I have no 4A either. I've got Stabler, Plunkett, respectively 1 and 2. I put LaMonica at 3, and I had Rich Gannon at 4. I would have had Rich Gannon at 3 if it wasn't for the Super Bowl performance, which is like the first thing that I think of.
Yeah. Yeah, against the Buccaneers.
I mean, you throw 4 INTs. It's pretty bad.
LaMonica had he didn't have that bad of performance, but he had a rough one in Super Bowl II against Lombardi's Packers.
Right.
But Daryl LaMonica, he would get on that back foot and fog it about 70 yards.
He was the Mad Bomber. I mean, the Al Davis philosophy was to throw long babies like the long balls, like DeChambeau. They loved throwing the ball.
They would.
They were the first ones to really do that on a regular basis, incorporated into their offense, not just last-second stuff at the end of games when you were behind. They did, and it was really a lot of fun.
You're being griefed at my text line, not 67129, the First Bank text line, but at the Brett text line of Dave going off the grid and breaking out a 4A.
So let me just say this: when there's a guy with the historical stature as a part of the league and that team as George Blanda, I say to you, foray into 4A.
I love breaking out a Norman Snead reference, though.
There you go. And those are the 9 best quarterbacks from these two teams. There you go. This portion of the show brought to you by Conway. If there was a Hall of Fame with Conway, I'd probably have 5 guys there, too. They're so good at service. I'm not kidding. And you know they've got this Energy Saver Super Tune-Up for $69. And right now, John's throwing in a free carbon monoxide test. So basically, they will check your heating system, making sure it's ready for the winter as a part of the $69 Super Tune-Up. This is where they go inside your house. They take out the filter. Now they're going to check for carbon monoxide. They're going to do all the little 16 points of tune-up. Then they go outside, remove all the dust and grime and leaves from your outside unit. I mean, it's the best $69 you ever spent. And now you're going to get for nothing the carbon monoxide test. They check everything at Conway. 384-3511. Take advantage. Get it now. 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. We must pause. When we come back, it's actually already crunch time on this Monday.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 96.1 FM, or 87.7 FM.
You have to be up in 5 hours, 2 hours, 6 minutes. And when you hear, you realize that you haven't slept a wink. That's why there's ZzzQuil Pure Z's, a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin, so you can fall asleep naturally with no next-day grogginess. It's available in both liquid and gummies, tastes great, and is non-habit forming. Pick up ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vicks ZzzQuil. ZzzQuil Pure Z's, naturally superior sleep. Available at retailers near you.
Hello? Hello, Mr. Crane. I'm calling about today's appointment. The tree is scheduled to fall on your RV at 2:14 today.
Any way we can reschedule? We're really enjoying our trip.
Oh, I'm sorry, but that's our only opening.
Can it just be a little tree?
Let me check. No, sorry. Our file says it's a huge one.
RV owners can't schedule when things go wrong on the road. That's why there's Progressive, a leader in RV insurance.
Is it 2:14 p.m. or a.m.?
You know, I'm not sure. Can I put you on a brief hold?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together. So the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Voloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, then we hit fame. We beat it with the deal, we get in fame.
Welcome back in. Almost ready to crunch it with Taco Bell. First, I'll let you know this portion of the show is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. And, of course, Genesis of Olive Branch, same building. All you got to do to find really what I think is the standard for the way car business should be done is get on Highway 78. It's Lamar Avenue in Memphis. And then when you get to the very first exit in Mississippi, Craft Road, turn left, you'll see Chris True and a gang that's been together for 13 years. Now, that kind of service coupled with this product where you get a lifetime limited powertrain warranty on every new car and a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package on every new Hyundai and every Genesis, well, that's just above and beyond. And let me tell you how good the safety technology is in these 2020 vehicles. Hyundai was tied for the most number of top safety picks in America. And the 2021s have begun to arrive. I've just gotten to check out this new technology, the 2021 Sonata. What a good-looking car. What a great ride. How safe it is. And there's new technology like Smart Park in that car that is just above and beyond anything we would have thought about even 10 years ago. See what I'm talking about? Get there. Get to Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. You will thank me later. It is crunch time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Boop!
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
On 1, on 2, on 3, take.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day.
A couple of things I've learned today, a lot I've learned today. One, I always want to tell it good and bad. Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet this weekend, he went 3-4 in his picks, 2-2 in college, 1-2 yesterday in the NFL. Also learned 82 majors have been played in this thing we call the 21st century. 1 to go this year. Bryson DeChambeau makes it 49 different players to win at least one major in the 21st century. Tiger, he's won 13 in the 21st century. Fields won 5. Rory and Brooks Koepka, they've won 4 each. Padraig Harrington and Jordan Spieth, they've won 3 each. 7 two-time winners, Retief, Ernie Els, Angel Cabrera, Zach Johnson, Bubba Watson, Martin Keimer, and Vijay Singh. 36 one-timers with beefcakes joining that group. What'd you learn, Dave?
Well, I just had 2 realizations, and I've learned one thing. Or I learned more than that, but I'm only going to tell you one thing. 2 realizations are this. The next 2 majors in golf are both the Masters.
They are.
I love that.
Let's hope we get them both in.
I sure hope we do. The other realization is this is the 4th new era of the Raiders. Tonight it begins in Vegas, their third but really like fourth city. Crazy with the Davis family. And this we learned today, there's a problem with MetLife Stadium. The 49ers were the ones that really got hit the hardest as they faced the Jets. Nick Bosa, Jimmy Garoppolo, Raheem Mostert, their really good running back, and Solomon Thomas all suffered leg injuries. Looks like Garoppolo is going to be okay. I'm not sure about the others. Also, defensive lineman Eric Armstead, he's hurt pretty badly. The word is the stadium is in bad shape, and it's a brand new field. They may have to rip up before the next time they even play there. The NFL is looking into it.
I'm going to quote Warren Sapp. If you can't roll it up and smoke it, you don't need to be playing on it. Go to real grass unless you got a roof over the stadium. Could have done without the second ever NFL score to land on 40-39. Dallas won at the buzzer, 40-39 over Atlanta. Cowboys aren't very good, and Dan Quinn could be first coach out in the NFL. Falcons defense real bad. The only other 40-39 game came in 2002 between the Chiefs, and now I can't remember who the opponent was.
I could have done without this story. Florida prosecutors said on Monday they will not appeal a rule throwing out video recordings allegedly showing New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft paying for massage parlor sex acts. Guess the prosecutors decided if they challenged last month's 4th District Court of Appeal decision to the state Supreme Court, it really, and they lost there, it could have broader negative implications on future law enforcement investigations. The 4th District ruling found Jupiter Police violated the rights of Kraft and others when they secretly installed video cameras inside massage rooms.
Man. Secretly install video cameras. That never ends well.
No, and you know what's bad, too, is the story for Robert Kraft never goes away, right? I mean, Lord knows how many times he went to this place, and it's not my business. It really isn't. But just when you think it's over, it never goes away. The story keeps coming back.
Now, I do care on the front of if it was somebody being trafficked and against their. I do care about those people having to work there, but largely, really bad. Story really reads bad. Tonight, going to watch a lot, including Monday Night Football. 50 years ago tonight, Monday Night Football debuted, and it really was the last great stand of Joe Namath as a Jet. Looking forward to seeing the new stadium in Vegas, Saints and Raiders. 10 baseball games tonight, and all 10 with playoff implications and ramifications. Adam Wainwright, he's been dynamite. He needs to be tonight for the Cardinals. Cardinals don't score a lot of runs. Waino needs to hold them about 1 or 2.
Cubs need to win. They're playing the Pirates. I know that was that was chicken soup for the Cardinals. Maybe it'll be for the Cubbies, who got beat up a little bit by the Twins over the weekend. We want to thank Ted Butler, David Cobb, Steve Macy, and Anthony Sane for being part of this show today. We got another busy show tomorrow with Gabe Kuhn, Brent Beard, Jeff Moore, Beau Marchant, and Ron Tillery. This was a lot of fun today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Join us then. Have a great night, everybody.